Chapter 173. The rise and fall of domestic theme songs beat with the pulse of the times. Theme songs first flourished in the 50s and 60s, when the country was newly established and the whole society was full of vitality. Works reflecting the style of the times emerged one after another, giving birth to many classics. In the 70s and 80s, China achieved great unification, the reform and opening up to prosperity and wealth, and the material life of the people has been greatly improved. Theme songs followed the pace of the times, and a large number of famous young singers emerged, which are still active in the mainstream today. After entering the new century, theme songs, like ethnic songs and pop songs, became fewer and fewer classics. The style was the same, the melody was repeated, and gradually lost its original status. However, on the political level, the vitality of theme songs is still extremely tenacious. Many major festivals in China, such as National Day, Army Day, Victory Day, etc., have always been played by theme songs. For example, Beijing Television's 2015 National Day Gala, there were as many as 15 song and dance programs, accounting for 70% of the total, among which 11 were theme songs. There was no need to consider the ratings for this gala. Lu Chen was temporarily replaced to sing solo, so when Gu Rui intentionally asked him to sing the theme song, he immediately thought of many classic theme works from the dream world in his memory. Tn, that's right. There were too many songs to choose from, and any one of them was enough to dominate the scene. Not to mention others, there were two versions of I Love You China. In addition to the version that Lu Chen just sang, the other version was actually more classic and had the real theme style. However, after careful consideration, Lu Chen still chose the current version. The reason was very simple, the problem of composition and singing style. The other version was classic and excellent, and more in line with the requirements, but it was very different from the style of his previous works, including the melody, the lyrics, and the way of singing. The current version of I Love You China had a very good melody, rhythm and emotional expression. It used the method of raising first and then restraining, expressing gratitude, attachment, love, and blessing to the motherland. Although the impromptu accompaniment was very rough, Lu Chen integrated sincere feelings when singing. Among them, I love you, China's beloved mother, I shed tears for you and I'm proud of you. These two lines were repeated 10 times, each time more intense than the last. For the audience at the scene, first of all, they felt very fresh. He had never heard of such a theme work before. Lu Chen's song, I Love You China, is obviously not pure, or the kind of theme style that everyone is familiar with. It is more inclined to pop, with a lot of light rock characteristics, which is refreshing. Tn, and the emotions expressed in Lu Chen's singing moved them. There was no doubt that it was a good song. At least Gao Zhixue was so engrossed that he completely ignored the flaws in the accompaniment and nodded along with the melody. He didn't even know when Gu Rui appeared beside him. Until Lu Chen finished singing. In the studio, there was a warm applause immediately. Although there were only 100 people present, the atmosphere was not bad. Many people even stood up and applauded. Director Gao, what do you think of this song? Gu Rui asked with a smile, a little proud. He took the risk to recommend Lu Chen. Lu Chen didn't let him lose face and really made him proud. Gao Zhixue came back to his senses and saw Gu Rui. He suddenly smiled, yes, this song shouldn't be Lu Chen's original, right? I've never heard of it before. If such a work wasn't a new creation, it was impossible for him not to have heard of it. Gu Rui nodded and replied, yes. Gao Zhixue sighed, young people nowadays are really amazing. Each generation is stronger than the previous one. When Director Gao said this, he didn't notice the expression of Director Lu Zhengji, who was sitting on his right. Lu Zhengji frowned and suddenly reached out and patted the microphone on the table in front of his seat. Puff. Puff. He asked, this little comrade, did you write this song yourself? Lu Chen replied, yes. There was a soft hubbub in the auditorium, and everyone was praising Lu Chen's talent. Lu Zhengji moved his but a little uneasily. He straightened up and said very seriously, "This little comrade, the lyrics of your work are not bad. Your creative talent is worthy of recognition, but the style is not very compatible with the National Day Party. We need to reconsider." "What?" Gao Zhixue, Gurue, and the staff of Beijing Television were stunned. "This song is not very compatible with the National Day Party? What is this?" Lu Zhengji probably realized that he didn't explain clearly enough, so he added, "That is, the characteristics of the theme are not reflected. It is too similar to an ordinary pop song." This reason, Gao Zhixue was a little speechless. "Is this nitpicking?" Gurue suddenly became anxious. His face turned red in an instant and he shouted, The music director of Beijing Television appreciates Lu Chen and Lu Chen's song, I Love You China. Although this song seems a bit deviant as a theme work, both the melody and the lyrics are excellent. It should really be regarded as a unique innovation. From the glory of theme works to the decline, such innovation is needed too much, and it should be strongly encouraged and supported. How can it be beaten to death with a stick like this? Gurue's character is upright, and he immediately wants to argue with Lu Zhengji. However, Gao Zhixue reacted very quickly and immediately stopped Gurue and said to Lu Zhengji, "Let's reconsider this song, or change it to a more suitable one." Gurue is unhappy, but he is also happy in his heart. It's true that Lu Zhengji's level is higher than his, but Lu Zhengji is the leader of CCTV, not Beijing TV. Such an overstepping of his authority to veto the program is somewhat suspected of slapping his face on the spot. However, nominally, CCTV has the responsibility of guiding Beijing TV in many aspects. Lu Zhengji came for this purpose. His reason can't be said to be completely wrong. At least, Gurue shouldn't and can't have a direct conflict with him. LV Zhengji smiled and leaned back comfortably in his seat. Since he's here, he can't be a clay bodhisattva. He must make a sound. Everyone's eyes returned to the stage. Lu Chen is still standing there. Many staff members who acted as audience members showed a sympathetic look. Any newcomer who was beaten like this will probably be very depressed, right? Embarrassment are certain. But what everyone didn't expect was that Lu Chen's expression didn't change in the slightest because of Lu Zhengji's denial. He pondered for a moment and said into the microphone, "Director Gu, 2 leaders, in fact, I have another work that may be more suitable. Can I sing it again?" "Huh? Sing another song?" Lu Zhengji couldn't help but be stunned. He turned his head and looked at Gao Zhixue, looking a little unhappy. If it's a party rehearsal of CCTV, Lu Zhengji would never agree to such a request. Death was death. If everyone wanted to give him another chance, wouldn't everything be a mess? Moreover, Lu Chen is suspected of not respecting his leaders enough. But after all, this is Beijing Television, and the rehearsal is a party program of Beijing Television. He has just made a move once. If he makes his own decision, it would be too disrespectful to Gao Zhixue. Does he really think that the chief editorial office director is made of clay? So, Lu Zhengji used his face to signal to Gao Zhixue to decide for himself. Gao Zhixue's heart seemed to be galloping with 10,000 grass mud horses. The chief editorial office director is really not made of clay. Even a clay man has 3 points of anger. He thought for a moment and said resolutely, "Lu Chen, then you sing another song." In fact, this is not in line with the rules, but Gao Zhixue doesn't want to be controlled by others on his own home ground. So many people in the station are watching. Where can he put his face? Gurue looked happy and quickly asked, "Lu Chen, do you want to go down and prepare first?" Director Gu is worried that Lu Chen is not fully prepared for the temporary song change. If he sings badly again, it will be really over. He is very reluctant to see Lu Chen lose the opportunity to go on stage. Lu Chen smiled confidently and said, "Thank you, 2 leaders, thank you Director Gu." I can sing this song without accompaniment." His smile infected Gu Rui, giving the latter an inexplicable sense of trust. He said, "All right then." Lu Chen nodded. He took a deep breath and said into the microphone, "This song is also my original work. Its name is, I Love You China." What? Everyone in the studio wondered if they had heard it wrong. Didn't Lu Chen just sing, "I Love You China"? Why is he singing, "I Love You China," now? Love again, no, sing again? Lu Zhengji made a ha sound, and the expressions of Gao Zhixue and Gurue froze. Behind them, there was a burst of discussion. I didn't hear wrong, did I? Did he say it wrong, or did I hear it wrong? Why is it, "I Love You China" again? Is this Lu Chen confused from singing? Hee, it's a little interesting. But whether it was the faces of the TV station leaders or the criticism, it had no effect on Lu Chen. He opened his voice and directly sang another new song in the style of the main theme. The lark flies across the blue sky, "I love you China, I love you China, I love you China, I love your vigorous seedlings in spring, I love your golden fruits in autumn, I love your green pine temperament, I love your red plum character, I love the sugar cane of your hometown, like milk nourishing my heart." When Lu Chen sang the first line of the lyrics with a clear and pure voice, the audience was in awe. Note, I Love You China, lyrics, Chu Tsong/composer, Zheng Qiufeng. Chapter 174. Lu Chen didn't know Lu Zhengji and thought that the other party was a high-level leader in Beijing television. Therefore, when Lu Zhengji rejected his new song, Lu Chen couldn't be completely indifferent. Perhaps he was surprised, or ashamed, or resentful, but now that he is standing on this stage, if he wants to become a real big star, he must learn to calmly face any doubts, criticisms, and even slander. How can he see the rainbow without going through wind and rain? So, he didn't get excited to argue. Not only would it not help, but it would only leave a bad impression. But Lu Chen would never silently endure the injustice imposed by others. He resolutely proposed to sing another song. Didn't you say that it wasn't theme enough? Then let's sing a real theme song. There are countless pearls in his memory treasury, and choosing any one at random is enough to reverse the situation. And Lu Chen is lucky. First of all, he has wonderful and excellent works. Secondly, Lu Zhengji is not the leader of Beijing television. Director Lu is from CCTV. In terms of rank alone, Lu Zhengji is undoubtedly the highest among all the people present, but he can't be in charge of Beijing television. The support of Gao Zhixue and Gurue gave Lu Chen a valuable opportunity. He didn't hesitate to bring out his strongest strength. This real theme song, I Love You, China, is absolutely a classic in the dream world. Its original singer is bel canto, but as long as you have enough strength, it's no problem to change to popular singing. And Lu Chen's interpretation of this song is a perfect combination of bel canto and popular singing. The lark flies across the blue sky, I love you, China. In the first line of the lyrics, Lu Chen showed off his singing voice, showing off his talent in the treble to everyone present in a way that was almost showing off, instantly shocking the audience. Like the first cry of a blue swan, his voice shook the 9 heavens. He used his own song to destroy all doubts with a crushing force. Many of the TV station staff sitting in the audience straightened their backs, and some even had their scalps tingling. They couldn't help but hold their breath and listen attentively to Lu Chen's singing. Their intuition tells them that Lu Chen is serious this time, and what he will take out again must be a blockbuster. Lu Chen did not disappoint. His voice was mellow, bright, clear, and clean. The rhythm of every single word was perfectly controlled. Amidst the majestic atmosphere, it was filled with tenderness and deep affection, and it was precisely grasped in all sorts of ways. Although it was her first time singing, and although there was no accompaniment, it felt as if she had sung it thousands of times. The first few lines were still sung in a very traditional way. Every line conformed to the norm, and the style of the main melody was incomparably distinct. Then, Lu Chen gradually added a little rock and roll flavor, and the rhythm became slightly faster, which paved the way for the following section. When it came to the line, "I love your pine temperament," Lu Chen's voice changed. It was no longer mellow and bright. The rock and roll mood overflowed with the passion of the song, making people unconsciously feel that their blood was boiling in their bodies. The few lines of "I love you" were even more energetic and soul-stirring. At this point, he suddenly used a falsetto voice to end it so gently after being bold. In terms of singing skills alone, it was really admirable. And this was only the beginning. "I love you, China, I love you, China, I want to dedicate the most beautiful song to you, my mother, my motherland. I love you, China, I love you, China, I love you, the rolling South China Sea, I love you, the snowy North Country, I love you, the boundless forest, I love you, the lofty mountains, I love you, the gurgling river, flowing through my dreams with clear waves. I love you, China, I love you, China, I want to dedicate the best youth to you, my mother, my motherland. Ah, I want to dedicate the best youth to you, my mother, my motherland." This song, "I Love You, China," uses the traditional writing technique of China's Fu Bai Xing. It can be described as one chant and three sighs, concise words and sentences. In the lyrics, the use of repetition, parallelism and other techniques, the image and delicate portrayal of the spring seedlings and autumn fruits of the motherland, forests, mountains and rivers, fields and crops, etc., expressing the full enthusiasm and sincere patriotism for the motherland. The song is composed of three parts. The first part is the introduction. The rhythm is relatively free, the breath is broad, the tone is bright, high-pitched, and the melody is undulating, which brings people into the artistic realm of a lark overlooking the earth and singing loudly. The second part is the main part of the song. The rhythm is relatively flat, and the melody rises layer by layer. It is euphemistic, deep and internal. It spreads out a magnificent picture of the great rivers and mountains of the motherland, so that the theme of the work continues to deepen. The third part is the ending section. After the expression of the line, "Ah," the whole song is pushed to the climax. And the last sentence, "My mother, my motherland," ends in the high register, containing a full of fiery patriotism, which makes people feel drunk. Lu Chen sang it in one breath, and he only sang it once. When the last sentence, "My motherland," was sung, Lu Chen's face was already red, which was the external manifestation of the use of breath to the extreme, and also the manifestation of his inner excitement. This song, in terms of singing skills alone, has reached his previous peak. Even Lu Chen himself felt a little incredible that he could sing so well, and all the negative emotions squeezed in his heart were completely vented through singing, as if he had put down a heavy burden. He felt refreshed and relaxed all over. Whether he could sing solo on Beijing Television's National Day party or not, Lu Chen had no regrets. This is the pride of a singer. The hall of Beijing Television's T1 studio was quiet, as if it had been cast with a silent magic. Clap. 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 I don't know who was the first to clap his hands, and then everyone was moved in an instant. The staff of the TV station, who acted as the audience, stood up, one after another, row after row. They didn't make any noise, they just applauded. At first, it was disorderly, but soon it became very orderly. The judges sitting at the front also applauded. The most excited one was Gurue. He stared at Lu Chen with his eyes shining, as if he had found a rare treasure. The fat on Lu Zhengji's face twitched, and he also raised his palms and clapped. Whether director Lu admitted it or not, Lu Chen's singing was extremely wonderful. He was fully qualified to stand on the big stage of Beijing Television. And his second song, "I Love You China," was 100% a theme work, and it was also a fine work in its category. If Lu Zhengji wanted to deny this, then he would really become a clown. Therefore, whether he was willing or not, he had to give applause to Lu Chen. Even if he felt like slapping himself in the face. The warm applause lasted for more than half a minute. If Gao Zhixue hadn't stood up and turned around to signal everyone to be quiet, I'm afraid it would have continued. This was the first time such a situation had happened in the afternoon rehearsal. Even when Chen Fei came on stage before, he didn't win such enthusiastic applause from these TV station staff. Whether they understood music or not, they all thought it was a really good song in the theme. Gao Zhixue sat down again and asked Lu Zhengji with a smile, "Director Lu, do you think this song by Lu Chen is okay?" There was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Although Lu Zhengji couldn't see it, he could understand the other party's thoughts. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't ashamed. But on the surface, he smiled as if nothing had happened. "Well, this song is very good. It's enough to go on CCTV." On CCTV. Gao Zhixue's pupils shrank suddenly. He forgot that CCTV also has a National Day party, and the scale and lineup are much stronger than that of Beijing TV. Lu Chen's song, "I Love You China," although the lyrics are simple and unpretentious, has a moving passion. It expresses the infinite affection for the motherland incisively and vividly, making people fully experience a strong emotion gushing out. Such a song could become a classic, and it would be a classic among the main themes. As the director of Beijing TV's editor-in-chief office and an expert in music, Gao Zhixue deeply understands how difficult it is to come up with a theme classic now. This song, "I Love You China," will undoubtedly become a highlight of the National Day party. How can it be taken away by CCTV? Gao Zhixue subconsciously wanted to refuse. But Gao Zhixue, after all, is not an ordinary person. He swallowed the words that were on the tip of his tongue. What time is it now? CCTV's National Day party rehearsal is much earlier than that of Beijing TV. It's basically impossible for Lu Zhengji to push Lu Chen onto the stage of CCTV. Watching the Beijing TV party may be all the people in the entertainment circle in Beijing, and watching the stage of CCTV is the whole country. Lu Zhengji is just teasing people. Old fox. Gao Zhixue secretly cursed in his heart, but said with a smile, "If Director Lu is willing to recommend him, I'm very happy that Lu Chen can appear at CCTV's National Day party." Lu Chen is the champion of Singing China, and a new star supported by Beijing television. If Lu Zhengji really wants him, he is really willing to strongly recommend him. Lu Zhengji said regretfully, "It's a pity that our station's party program is full." Of course, he didn't really want Lu Chen. He just said that to save face. The two old foxes were scheming against each other. Gurue next to them couldn't sit still. He didn't have time to ask Gao Zhixue. He said into the microphone, "Lu Chen, your work is more wonderful. Then use this song. Can you bring a complete accompaniment to the rehearsal on the 25th? Lu Chen said confidently, "No problem." Of course, there is no problem. Even if he works day and night, he will ask someone to arrange and produce the accompaniment. Gurue said with a smile, "That's all right. His EQ is not too low." Then he asked Gao Zhixue, "Director Gao, what do you think?" Gao Zhixue nodded with a smile, "Okay, then it's settled." As a result, Lu Chen's "I Love You China" has been officially determined as one of the solo programs at Beijing TV's National Day party. Comrade Xiao Lu, wait first. Just when Lu Chen was about to leave the stage, Lu Zhengji suddenly stopped him. Lu Chen was stunned. The director of CCTV's Literature and Arts Program Department asked with a smile, "Do you want your work to appear at CCTV's National Day party?" Chapter 175. CCTV's National Day Gala. These simple words seem to possess some sort of magical power, causing everyone present to involuntarily cry out in surprise. In China, China Central Television is undoubtedly an overlord. It is the highest-level TV broadcasting organization representing the government. Its strength and heritage are incomparable to all satellite TV stations combined. Being able to perform at CCTV's gala is the dream of countless artists, especially the annual Spring Festival Gala. Its ratings are as high as 90%, which is a shortcut to reach the sky in one step. Of course, the National Day Gala can't be compared with the Spring Festival Gala, but it's also a top stage that newcomers like Lu Chen can't reach. Without enough contacts and qualifications, don't even think about setting foot in it. Now Lu Zhengji actually asked Lu Chen if he wanted to go up, which made everyone's glasses fall to the ground on the spot. Isn't this a bit too exaggerated? Gao Zhixue couldn't believe it. Director Lu, are you kidding me? Gurue was directly dumbfounded. Is it really going to be intercepted by CCTV? CCTV intercepting Beijing TV programs has really happened before. Who made the relationship between the two so complicated? But Lu Chen didn't get carried away. He had an instinctive sense of vigilance against the big-bellied leader and didn't think the other party would let him off so easily. Lu Chen thought for a moment and asked, "Excuse me, leader, is it just my work?" Because he was sober enough, he grasped the core of the problem. Does he want the person, or just the work? The difference is too big. Gao Zhixue and Gurue reacted and looked at Lu Zhengji. Lu Zhengji said with a smile, "Comrade Xiao Lu, your song is very good. I think it is qualified to be on a bigger stage, but the performers of our CCTV National Day Gala are all in place, hee." His meaning was very clear. The person couldn't be changed, but it was fine to change the song. Lu Zhengji wanted to intercept the song, "I Love You, China." As for Lu Chen, wanting to be on the stage of CCTV? That could only be a hee-hee. In fact, to be fair, it was already a great honor for Lu Chen's work to appear on CCTV's gala. Even if Lu Zhengji wanted to change the song, it would take some effort. He had his own plans. Although Gao Zhixue and Gurue were glaring at him, LV Zhengji was still calm and confident. He didn't think that Lu Chen would reject his suggestion. As long as one wasn't a fool, one wouldn't miss such an opportunity to build a relationship with Central TV. In comparison, what was Beijing television? Moreover, even if Lu Chen didn't sing, "I Love You, China," he still had another song. Of course, the song had to be renamed. It would not do to have the same name. However, no matter how well Director Lu thought, he didn't understand Lu Chen. Lu Chen smiled and said, "Thank you, leader, but I want to sing this work on the stage of Beijing television." His attitude was polite, but his tone was firm. Lu Chen was more or less surprised that Lu Zhengji was the leader of Central TV. Lu Zhengji's suggestion also made Lu Chen's heart waver for a moment. This was Central TV they were talking about. But Lu Chen quickly calmed down. Lu Zhengji only wanted his work, and his arrogant attitude made Lu Chen feel disgusted. Most importantly, if Lu Chen gave up "I Love You, China" for the immediate benefits, it would be equivalent to slapping Beijing television in the face, and it would definitely make Gurue, who had always supported him, disappointed. Therefore, it was destined that Lu Chen wouldn't agree. Perhaps in the eyes of others, his decision was very stupid, but Lu Chen had his own principles and beliefs. As a man, there were things he shouldn't do, and things he must do. Even if it might offend the leader of Central TV. Lu Zhengji's smile instantly froze. He didn't expect that Lu Chen would reject it directly. He didn't even think about it. This made him feel very embarrassed. However, Lu Zhengji was very shrewd. He immediately smiled and said, "Well, that doesn't matter. The decision is up to you." Although that was what he said, there was still a resentful look in his eyes. He really didn't know what was good for him. Gao Zhixue and Gurue looked at each other. No one expected Lu Chen to be so courageous. Gao Zhixue coughed and said, "Lu Chen, then you go back and quickly prepare the arrangement." He was ready to be slapped in the face by Lu Zhengji, but the result was really unexpected. A newborn calf is not afraid of a tiger. At this moment, Gao Zhixue, like Gurue, had a trace of love for Lu Chen. If such a young man didn't die prematurely, his future was limitless. Lu Chen bowed and then left the stage. His rehearsal for today was over, so he went backstage to get his things and left. As a result, as soon as he got out of the gate of the TV station, Lu Chen was stopped. The other party looked very capable in a suit and leather shoes, and his attitude was also polite. "Mr. Lu Chen, Miss Chen Fei, wants to see you. Is it convenient for you now? Sister Fei?" Lu Chen vaguely remembered that this man in a suit was Chen Fei's attendant, so he didn't think much about it. "Where is she?" Led by the man in a suit, Lu Chen came to the parking lot of the TV station. The man in a suit opened the door of a silver-gray extended Mercedes-Benz business car, bowed and made an inviting gesture to him. Lu Chen nodded and leaned over to get into the car. The man in a suit immediately closed the door. The space inside the business car was unexpectedly large, and the interior was luxurious. 2 rows of leather sofas were placed opposite each other, and there was a coffee table, a small bar, a refrigerator, a TV and other equipment. There was no smell in the car, but a faint fragrance wafted in the air. Chen Fei sat alone on the sofa. When she saw Lu Chen come in, she smiled sweetly and said, "Lu Chen, I hope you don't mind that I invited you here like this. There are a lot of reporters outside. Today was the first rehearsal of Beijing Television's National Day Party. Many stars and artists came, so there were a lot of entertainment reporters, commonly known as paparazzi, squatting outside the building of the TV station." If Chen Fei waited for Lu Chen at the door in person, it was estimated that they could make up a groundless scandal if they were photographed by the reporters. The parking lot of the TV station was closed and managed. One could enter and exit with a card, so there was no need to worry about the paparazzi's camera here. Lu Chen understood. "Sister Fei, if there's anything, just say it. As long as I, Xiao Lu, can do it, just say it." Chen Fei was a senior who had been in the industry for many years, and she was also a big artist in the circle. Most importantly, she had taken care of Lu Chen. Lu Chen always remembered this favor, but he was afraid that he would not have the opportunity to repay it. After all, the gap between the status of the two was too big. Chen Fei pursed her lips and said with a smile, "It sounds so nice. You must be very good at coaxing girls, right?" The Queen of Sweet Song was really a natural beauty. She wore light makeup today, but there were no flaws on her delicate and beautiful face. Her bright eyes and white teeth made people feel close to her. And she didn't have the slightest arrogance in front of Lu Chen. In addition, it must be pointed out that she was a fully mature woman, but mixed with the innocence of a young girl, forming a strange seductive charm, which was infinitely expanded in the narrow space in the car. Lu Chen's mental fortitude was very strong, but he still felt a sense of suffocation sitting opposite her. For her teasing, Lu Chen could only smile bitterly. Chen Fei said with a smile, "Well, I won't joke with you. I just want to ask, the song you just sang, 'I Love You China,' is it your own work?" Lu Chen was surprised. "Sister Fei, have you seen my rehearsal?" Chen Fei nodded. "Yes, I can see it in the backstage VIP room. I was going to leave, but your song made me stay. Both songs are very good and wonderful." Her eyes were bright. "I prefer the latter song, 'I Love You China.' You sang it so well." Being stared at so closely by the Queen of Sweet Song, Lu Chen felt a little stressed. "Thank you." Chen Fei smiled heartily and said, "So I just want to ask, can you authorize me to cover this song?" "So that's how it is." Lu Chen understood and replied without hesitation, "No problem at all. In fact, Sister Fei, you can ask someone to call me." Chen Fei said seriously, "That's not the same. It's true that Lu Chen is a newcomer, but the talent he has shown in writing has even surpassed many well-known songwriters, and is completely worthy of her looking at him differently. In the circle, the status of singer-songwriters has always been very high. If Lu Chen can always maintain a strong creative inspiration and come up with more fine works, he will inevitably achieve a high position. Chen Fei is not so close and kind to all newcomers, especially men. Lu Chen's creative strength made her respect him. Especially the song, I Love You China, Just Now, which even shocked Chen Fei. Although in the pop music world, Chen Fei still maintains the reputation of the Queen of Heaven, she knows very well that the sweet songs and love songs she is good at have lost their market among the young people of the new era. If she doesn't want to be silent, Chen Fei must transform. But this is obviously not an easy thing. Because everyone is used to her image, her voice and style. If the transformation is not successful, the consequences will be very serious. Of course, Lu Chen's song, I Love You China, can't help her transform immediately. She has no intention of developing into a theme singer for the time being, but at least this is a road, and she once again saw the amazing talent of Lu Chen. Chen Fei is a very smart woman. She decisively invited Lu Chen to talk privately and wanted to buy the cover rights of this song. What she really wants is to establish an important cooperative relationship with Lu Chen. Lu Chen didn't let her down. Chen Fei was suddenly in a good mood. That's great, she thought about it and said, I'll treat you to dinner tonight. You promised to write a song for me. We can talk while we eat. How about this, you decide the place to eat, and I'll pay the bill. Are you driving? Lu Chen, he can't keep up with the thinking of the Queen of Sweet Song at all. Chapter 176. As the sky gradually darkened, the street lights on both sides of the street were all lit up, and night was about to fall. Lu Chen drove his Zhonghua X7 City, moving in the rolling traffic at a speed of no more than 10 yards per hour. Although Beijing had taken off the hat of blocking the city a few years ago, the roads in Beijing's second and third ring road were still very crowded during the evening rush hour, and traffic jams often occurred, which made people helpless. Hello, listeners and friends, this is Beijing Music Radio FM 102.6. The following song is from Chen Fei's Happy Angel, wishing everyone a good night. Listening to the FM radio from the car radio, Lu Chen couldn't help turning his head to the right. In the passenger seat, a woman in a t-shirt and jeans was sitting. Big and small English letters were printed all over the white t-shirt, which was as wide as a bat. Set off by splash ink multiple colors, it was full of postmodernist exaggeration, which was exactly the style that trendy young people like. The material of the dark blue jeans was very thin, and the surface was torn with many holes, revealing the white jade-like skin inside. She had a fluffy ponytail, a thick purple eyeshadow on her face, a pair of color-framed flat glasses on the delicate and small bridge of her nose, and her red lips were shocking like fire. Her left and right earlobes were hung with long purple gold wire earrings, shining in the flashing headlights from time to time. Such a style is very common in the personal space of QQ Group and QQ Group, basically from those post-90s girls who crazily love selfies. They chase fashion and color and like personalized decoration. Even if it looks very exaggerated. But this one, Lu Chen was really speechless. He never dreamed that Chen Fei could dress up like this. If an entertainment reporter photographed Chen Fei's style, and left all his assistants and entourage behind to go shopping and eat with him, it was estimated that he would be able to occupy the headlines tomorrow. His image would be completely ruined. Is there a Queen of Sweet Song? Is there a Jade Girl leader? Is there a goddess who is the center of attention? All of them are going to be destroyed. Lu Chen felt a pain in his balls, and he was under a lot of pressure. Why did he agree? Alright, Lu Chen had to admit that the temptation of bringing a heavenly queen shopping was irresistible. It was obviously not the first time for Chen Fei to play like this. Previously, he got out of the Mercedes-Benz business car and waited outside for just over half an hour. When he saw that the heavenly queen had completely changed her appearance. Even if she walked openly on the bustling street, no one would be able to tell her true identity. Chen Fei noticed Lu Chen's gaze and seemed to know what he was thinking. He said softly, "People like us don't have our own lives to speak of. It feels like we are living for someone else. We look glamorous on the surface, but we have to bear a lot of pressure behind the scenes. I'm not surprised that something happened to Brother Wang Bin, because he started that way a long time ago, and he couldn't control it. I don't want to use that kind of self-destructive way to relieve pressure, so when I have a chance, I run out and become an ordinary person. I go shopping, buy clothes, eat things I usually don't dare to eat, go to the amusement park to ride roller coasters, go to the arcade to play games. She told her story, mixing it with her voice that came from the radio station. Lu Chen was silent. After a while, he asked curiously, "Sister Fei, you ran out with me like this, isn't it? Wasn't Chen Fei afraid of being worried?" After all, he was a young and strong man. If she really suffered a loss, she could only swallow it herself. "What are you thinking?" Chen Fei rolled her eyes at him and said, "I think you are my younger brother. My younger brother is the same age as you." She smiled and said, "If I could be 10 years younger, would really consider you." Chen Fei had never been shy about her age. She was 30 years old this year, 8 years older than Lu Chen. She was very fond of Lu Chen. She appreciated his talent and believed in his character. Lu Chen smiled bitterly and rubbed his nose, speechless. Chen Fei blinked and asked, "Lu Chen, you don't have a girlfriend yet, do you?" Lu Chen nodded. "Yes, I don't have such thoughts for the time being." Chen Fei sighed and said, "That's true. Us artists are also different from ordinary people in love. We are always exposed to the flashing lights, and we are often separated from each other." She suddenly said, "Xiao Chu likes you very much. Don't you think about it? She is a very cute girl." "Xiao Chu?" Lu Chen was stunned, and soon realized that Chen Fei was talking about Mu Xiao Chu. He shook his head and said, "I think Xiao Chu is my younger sister." Hearing Lu Chen's answer, Chen Fei suddenly smiled. She just said that Lu Chen was her younger brother. The Queen of Sweet Song smiled beautifully, and even heavy makeup couldn't cover it. The atmosphere in the car became warm and harmonious. Even the stagnant traffic started to move. When Lu Chen parked the car in the parking lot near Shikahai, it was already dark. In the evening, Chen Fei invited him to dinner, but she didn't want to go to a luxury restaurant or a 5-star hotel. Instead, she wanted to eat the special snacks of the old capital, so she came to Shikahai. Shikahai's snack street was famous throughout the capital, gathering dozens of century-old brands such as Yushengzai, fried tripe fong, tea soup li, rice cake money, cheese wei, sheep head horse, tofu white and so on. Originally, Shikahai's snack street was hidden in Xiaoyu Alley next to Song Qingling's former residence. It was a large square courtyard, which could only accommodate hundreds of customers at the same time at most. Later, because the business was too hot, the government replanned the construction, connecting the old alley and the new pedestrian street, adding more food and snacks from all over the country and even foreign countries, and combined with the surrounding modern shopping malls, forming an integrated pattern of eating, drinking, playing, and shopping. Business was booming here every day, especially at 6 or 7 o'clock, when there were so many people. "I want to eat fried tripe, rice cake, tofu pudding." Chen Fei took Lu Chen's arm and said, "There are also mutton skewers, shumai, soup dumplings, lemon juice." Walking on the antique old street, the two followed the crowd, like an ordinary couple. Chen Fei is more than 1.7 meters tall. Even without wearing high heels, she looks very good beside Lu Chen. Lu Chen was surprised. "Can you eat it? Aren't you afraid of getting fat?" Chen Fei laughed. "No, I'm not afraid. I only eat it once or twice every few months." Lu Chen also relaxed. "It's good that you're not afraid. Then let's eat to our heart's content, eat if we want to eat." If Chen Fei was not afraid, what did he have to be afraid of? That's right. Chen Fei laughed. "We're out to relax, so don't think too much. Being happy is the most important thing. In other words, they are willful." So, the two willful people first ran to a stall selling mutton skewers, and Lu Chen asked the stall owner for 10 skewers. "Spicy. Okay." The stall owner quickly counted out 10 freshly roasted mutton skewers and skillfully sprinkled chili powder on it, 50 yuan. A mutton skewer costs 5 yuan. Lu Chen took the mutton but did not pay. The one who paid was Chen Feier. She took out money from her kawaii bag that was at most 50 yuan and handed it to the stall owner. Thank you for your patronage. When the stall owner took the money, he gave Lu Chen a disdainful look. Big and handsome boy actually let a girl pay for him when he came out to play and eat? He is either a softie or a woman. What a waste of his good looks. Lu Chen did not know whether to laugh or cry. On the way, Chen Feier stressed that he was responsible for buying and carrying things, and she was responsible for paying. As a result, he was despised. Chen Feier smiled and took a few mutton skewers from Lu Chen's hand, and eagerly stuffed them into her mouth. After chewing a few mouthfuls of meat and swallowing, she opened her mouth and breathed hard, so spicy, so spicy. Her face was bitter. Lu Chen hurriedly bought a freshly squeezed orange juice from the stall and handed it to Chen Feier. So cool. Chen Feier obviously could not eat spicy food, but after taking a sip of juice, she continued to eat the mutton skewers. This kind of valiant and fearless spirit made Lu Chen admire him very much. However, if her unscrupulous and unladylike image of her eating and drinking were to be seen by her fans, who knew how many people's hearts would be broken? Eating mutton skewers, the two continued to walk forward, stopping when they saw something they wanted to eat. Rice cakes, tofu pudding, shumai, soup dumplings. They walked and ate along the way, not thinking about anything else, just eating. In the end, halfway through the long snack street, Chen Feier's stomach was so full that she could not walk anymore. She was also very regretful. There is still a lot of delicious food later. Lu Chen smiled. Come back next time. Let's go to the pedestrian street and rest for a while. In front of them was the intersection of the snack street and pedestrian street. Turning right was the shopping mall. There were fewer people on the pedestrian street that led directly to the shopping mall, and there were open-air tea houses and coffee shops on both sides. There were also benches for tourists to rest on. Lu Chen and Chen Feier found an empty bench and sat down. They were not tired, but a little full. Chen Feier greedily ordered a lot of things, and after tasting a bit of everything, she gave the rest to Lu Chen. Lu Chen's stomach was also limited. Huh? Chen Feier's eyes suddenly lit up, and she elbowed Lu Chen. Listen. Lu Chen heard it. The brightest star in the night sky, can you hear clearly, the loneliness and sigh in the heart of the person who looks up? The song was, The Brightest Star in the Night Sky. He could not help but turn his head in the direction of the song. He saw a street singer was playing and singing in the middle of the pedestrian street about 10 meters away. He was singing Lu Chen's song. The brightest star in the night sky, can you remember, the figure that once walked with me and disappeared in the wind? Lu Chen could not help but smile. Chapter 177. In Beijing, there are many street singers. They come from all over the world, and most of them come to this super big city with the dream of becoming famous. They are eager to use their talent to embark on a bright path to stardom, stand on the stage of tens of thousands of people, and be admired by everyone. But among these people, 99% of them can't realize their dreams. Their dreams and passion will be worn down and extinguished by life in the big city, and in the end, they will struggle to survive. Many singers can't find a way out and can only wander on the streets, singing in squares, underground passages, and roadsides. On the one hand, it is to earn the cost of basic living, and on the other hand, they are eager to be discovered by Bolu. In the entertainment industry and pop music world, there are really many examples of street singers becoming famous. Among the street singers, some people really have the strength and talent. It's just that they are unlucky. The singer who sang, The Brightest Star in the Night Sky, on the pedestrian street is very young, at most 20 years old. He is thin and not very tall, and his ordinary face has a trace of childishness. A guitar, a microphone, an electric stereo, and an open guitar case placed on the ground. A standard set of singing. Unfortunately, the singer's guitar playing is not bad, and the notes are very accurate, but his singing and voice are average. Therefore, his performance can't attract the attention of pedestrians, make them stop to listen, or throw money into the box. There were too many street performers in the capital, so no one was surprised. Unless there is a highlight and special feature, ordinary people are not willing to pay. Although not welcomed and appreciated, the young street singer still sang seriously and stood there stubbornly. Looking at him, Lu Chen suddenly remembered himself when he first came to Beijing. His heart is full of emotions. If it weren't for that dream, I'm afraid that he would still be a waiter and part-time singer in Forget Grass Bar, working hard to survive and pay off debts, and never seeing the hope of life. Lu Chen is looking at the singer, and Chen Fei is looking at Lu Chen with interest. The heavenly queen of Jade Maiden suddenly said, "He doesn't sing well. He ruined your song. Go and teach him." There was a sly look in her eyes, as if she couldn't wait to watch a good show. Lu Chen was stunned. "That's not good, is it?" Chen Fei laughed and said, "What's wrong with that? In fact, you're helping him. Otherwise, I don't think he'll be able to earn any money. Maybe he'll go hungry after paying the venue fee today." In Beijing, one could not simply perform as one wished. One needed to apply to the city's administrative agency. After obtaining a permit, one could perform at a specified location. Different places had to pay different venue fees. Some were free, and some were very expensive. The flow of people here was very dense. It was not easy to apply for a spot, nor was it cheap. If he couldn't earn back the rent, he might really starve. "Just take it as," Chen Fei tilted his head and said, "Sing this song for me." Lu Chen thought for a moment, then stood up and walked towards the other party. Since the singer chose his song, he must like it and could be considered a fan. Then I'll help him and encourage him. Walking to the front of the singer and waiting for him to finish a paragraph, Lu Chen asked with a smile, "Hello, I also want to sing this song. Can you accompany me?" The singer was stunned. He didn't notice Lu Chen at first. It wasn't until Lu Chen made the request that he realized that Lu Chen looked familiar. "You." The street singer suddenly opened his eyes wide, revealing a look of surprise. "You are," he obviously recognized Lu Chen. Before the other party said his name, Lu Chen asked seriously, "Okay?" "Okay, okay." The young singer was so excited that his face turned red. He nodded repeatedly and said, No problem." Never in his wildest dreams did he expect that his cover of a very popular song would attract the attention of the original singer. Lu Chen. This probability. Was he winning the lottery? He stuttered and added, My name is Guohan Dong. Mr. Dong Guo. Hello, my name is Lu Chen. Lu Chen smiled and raised his hand to hold the microphone. The dialogue between the two, amplified by the microphone and speakers, attracted the curious attention of many people around. Guohan took a few deep breaths, then clenched his teeth and played the prelude. Lu Chen nodded gently to the beat and opened his mouth to sing. "The brightest star in the night sky, can you remember the figure that once walked with me and disappeared in the wind?" His clear and clean voice instantly rang out in the bustling pedestrian street and drilled into people's ears. "The brightest star in the night sky, can you remember the figure that once walked with me and disappeared in the wind? I pray to have a transparent heart and eyes that can cry, give me the courage to believe again, oh to embrace you through lies. Whenever I can't find the meaning of existence, whenever I am lost in the night, oh the brightest star in the night sky. Please guide me close to you." In Lu Chen singing, the people sitting in chairs around him raised their heads one after another, and several girls showed a surprised look, as if they had discovered something incredible. Many passers-by stopped and focused their eyes on Lu Chen and Guohan. Puzzled, surprised, curious, there were also people who quickly ran over after hearing the song and gathered in front of the two of them. It sounds like the original singer. What do you mean by very similar? Don't you recognize it? This is the original singer, Lu Chen. He wrote the song. Really? It seems to be true. I've watched the Singing China competition. He's the champion, Lu Chen. So handsome, and he sings so well. Among the people who gathered around, there were many girls. They recognized Lu Chen and were all excited. However, the quality of the people in the capital is very high. Everyone keeps a distance, and even if they talk, they keep their voices down. Many girls took out their mobile phones to take pictures of Lu Chen, and the one standing in the front even squatted down, so as not to affect the people behind them to shoot or watch. More and more people gathered around. Lu Chen didn't expect such a scene. Because his official debut time is very short, Lu Chen has not yet realized that he has become a star artist. He didn't wear sunglasses or a mask when he went shopping, and he didn't think he could attract attention. However, Lu Chen underestimated the influence of his work. Not to mention the high ratings of Singing China, the album, You Who Sat Next to Me, which has just been released, has brought him a lot of popularity. This song, which was included in the album, has been sung and famous both on the internet and on the radio. So, as the original singer, it attracted a lot of people's attention in an instant. Fortunately, the onlookers were in good order, and Lu Chen was able to continue singing calmly. He saw Chen Fei also appear in the crowd of onlookers, smiling like a fox who had just stolen a hen. Very proud kind. The brightest star in the night sky, can you hear the loneliness and sigh in the bottom of the heart of the person who looks up? After singing the last few words softly and gently, Lu Chen let go of his hands, took a step back, and bowed to everyone. While warm applause immediately rang out. Lu Chen smiled and said, "Thank you for your support." Someone reacted and immediately took out money from his pocket and put it in the piano case on the ground. Others followed suit, and the box, which originally had only a few yuan of change, was quickly piled up with a high layer of banknotes. Guohan's face turned red, and he was so excited that he couldn't speak. A bold girl came up and asked, "Lu Chen, can I take a picture with you?" It was really new for Lu Chen to be asked by fans to take a picture with him. He smiled and nodded, "Of course." "Ah!" The girl screamed and immediately rushed up, hugged Lu Chen's arm tightly, and leaned her head on his shoulder. Her movements were very skilled. Her companion took several photos with her mobile phone. After satisfying one, there was another. In addition to taking a picture, there were also people asking for autographs. Interestingly, Lu Chen's fans were basically girls. In fact, there were a lot of boys watching, but they were very reserved and did not want to take a selfie with Lu Chen. After all, the current Lu Chen was only a singer with a little fame, not a famous superstar. In Beijing, where there were a lot of people, his appearance would not cause a sensation. If it was Chen Fei, the situation would definitely be completely different. After finally satisfying the requirements of the girls, Lu Chen was finally able to get away. He said to Guohan, "Come on, work hard." Guohan nodded and finally said, "Thank you." Lu Chen smiled and patted him on the shoulder, then stepped away and walked towards the shopping mall ahead. After a while, Chen Fei caught up from behind and walked side by side with him. The Queen of Sweet Song asked with a smile, "How do you feel?" Lu Chen thought about it seriously and said, "Not bad." The feeling of being liked and admired was very good, very good. Chen Fei sighed, "But when you get used to it and encounter it often, you will feel bored and even painful. But at that time, if you want to take the initiative to give up these things, I'm afraid you won't be able to do it." Lu Chen asked, "Then what do you think I should do?" Chen Fei said with a smile, "It's very simple. Drink today and get drunk today. Enjoy the present, young man." Lu Chen was speechless. Chen Fei suddenly said, "I want to drink beer, a big cup." Lu Chen was surprised, "Sister Fei, can you still drink?" Besides, you ate spicy food and drank at night, it's bad for your throat. Chen Fei's voice was recognized as a golden voice in the circle. Chen Fei stared at him and interrupted, just say whether you want to accompany me or not. Lu Chen thought about it seriously again and said, I don't want to. Chapter 178. Golden Crown KTV, Private Room 158. The music had just been turned off, and Lu Chen was speechless as he looked at Chen Fei, who was leaning on his shoulder. The Queen of Sweet Song tilted her head, her black hair fell on the sofa, her pretty face was flushed, and her red eyes were half closed. Lu Chen could smell the faint smell of alcohol on her breath. Chen Fei was drunk. At her insistence, Lu Chen came to the chain KTV on the top floor of the mall to sing. The two ordered half a box of small Budweiser and a lot of snacks. Chatting, drinking, singing, and guessing the dice. Chen Fei had a good time. The same was true for Lu Chen. He hadn't been so relaxed for a long time. He didn't have to think about anything and just followed his mood. And the one who accompanied him to play was a real heavenly queen of the music industry. Of the 12 330 milliliters bottles of beer, Chen Fei drank 5 of them. If it wasn't for Lu Chen stopping her, it was estimated that she would have drunk more. As a result, now that she was drunk, she leaned against Lu Chen and fell asleep. What made Lu Chen speechless was that the Queen of Sweet Song believed too much in his character, right? If he wanted to do something bad, Lu Chen's eyes fell on Chen Fei's pretty face, and suddenly had an evil thought. Sister Fei, Sister Fei? He called out softly twice, but as expected, there was no response. Lu Chen's mouth evoked a wicked smile, and he quietly extended his sinful hand to the drunk Chen Fei. He pinched her cheek very, very lightly. Little girl, today you finally fell into the hands of this uncle. It's useless even if you shout until your throat breaks. Give this uncle a smile first. Lu Chen laughed wickedly, but quickly retracted his hand. His heart was very satisfied. He really wanted to take a picture, and then post it on his blog with the title, A Rich Young Man Got Chen Fei Drunk in KTV, and the Poor Heavenly Queen's Chastity Can't Be Protected. Thinking about that scene, it was simply too beautiful. After fantasizing for a moment, Lu Chen, who had ended his dark transformation, took out his phone and called Chen Fei's assistant. Since Chen Fei was so drunk, she had to ask her assistant to send her back. After telling the other party the address, Lu Chen ended the call. However, as soon as he put down his phone, he was stunned. Chen Fei turned his head and rested his chin on his shoulder, revealing a smile that could make all living things go crazy. Her eyes were misty, and her red lips parted as she asked in a soft voice, Sir, do I smile like this? Lu Chen wished he could find a hole to hide in. So Chen Fei wasn't really drunk. He was caught red-handed on the spot. He could only admit his mistake with a bitter face. Sister Fei, I was wrong. Chen Fei giggled and said, if you know you're wrong, you're still a good boy. But if you do something wrong, you have to be punished. As punishment, write 2 songs for me. It must be the kind that sounds good, otherwise. She clenched her fist and shook it at Lu Chen. I've learned Taekwondo. Lu Chen felt as if he had been pardoned. 2 songs are no problem. Chen Fei proudly picked up her bag, got up and said, let's go and wait for Sister Zhang downstairs. Sister Zhang was Chen Fei's assistant. After paying the bill, the two of them took the elevator downstairs and saw Sister Zhang at the door. She and the other entourage must have been waiting nearby, so they came when summoned. Chen Fei turned to Lu Chen and said, I won't see you off. Don't drive by yourself. Be careful. Lu Chen nodded, goodbye, Sister Fei. Chen Fei blinked her eyes and suddenly stood on tiptoe to kiss Lu Chen's face. Lu Chen was suddenly petrified. Sister Zhang, who was standing at the door, was also stunned when she saw this scene. Since Chen Fei's debut, she had been with Chen Fei. She was closer than Chen Fei's family. But Sister Zhang had never seen Chen Feier so close to another man. Chen Feier smiled and said, "Thank you for accompanying me so happily. This is a thank you gift. Don't think too much." She waved and turned to leave, sprinkling a string of silver bell-like laughter. Lu Chen watched Chen Feier's figure disappear into the night. After a while, he touched the wet marks on his face. He smiled bitterly. If this scene was secretly photographed by the entertainment paparazzi in the capital, it was estimated that he would definitely make the headlines. She was really not afraid. In fact, the next day, on September 18th, the man who really made the headlines was Wang Bin. Wang Bin was arrested. Another superstar in the prison storm. How did the good man Wang Bin fall? The people of Chaoyang district have made a new contribution again. Count the entertainment industry stars who were arrested this year. Falling into the abyss at the age of 40, Wang Bin was destroyed. In the entertainment section of major mainstream magazines, portals, and even the home page of the main page, all published the shocking disappearance of Wang Bin after he was arrested for drug abuse. The media fell into a collective carnival and began to dig the dark curtain of the entertainment industry. Although Wang Bin was not the top superstar, he debuted very early and belonged to the old generation in the circle. Moreover, he was also a film, television, and singer-artist. He had always had a good image and was known as a good man of the new era. However, the image of this good man in the eyes of the public was destroyed in an instant, causing an earthquake in the circle. Some media revealed that Wang Bin did not only take drugs by himself, but also gathered people. At the same time, many of his friends in the circle were arrested. It was not even the first time, and many artists were involved. This media did not directly name names, but used L and C as a proxy. As a result, it caused countless speculation on the blog, causing many innocent star artists to be implicated, and they could only issue a public statement to refute the rumors. For a time, many ghosts and snakes emerged, and the number of visitors to the Waves blog soared several times. But these ups and downs had little to do with Lu Chen. What was related to Lu Chen was that his debut solo album, You Who Sat Next to Me, was on QQ Music Online for 10 days, with sales reaching 347,202 copies, close to 350,000. In the future, there was basically no suspense for it to break through 500,000 and achieve platinum. For a new singer who has just made his debut, such a result was simply against the natural order, and it was completely worth holding a grand celebration. Most importantly, the success of You Who Sat Next to Me has greatly encouraged the local original power of the domestic pop music industry. It has made many songwriters and singers discover that nostalgic folk songs still have great market potential to be tapped. Campus folk songs, a folk song category created by Lu Chen, has begun to take root in people's hearts and become popular quietly. Many entertainment companies and artists and singers are planning to withdraw from the same genre of works in an attempt to get a share of this market. And more people are directly staring at Lu Chen, and there are more and more phone calls to Lu Chen's studio and Lu Shi. At present, there are 7 entertainment record companies inviting you to sing songs. I've given all of them, but I haven't replied yet. In the general manager's office, Lu Shi held a stack of printed paper and reported to Lu Chen on the recent business situation. 2 of them are very sincere and should be able to negotiate, mainly about price and copyright. You Who Sat Next to Me was a big seller. Lu Chen asked Lu Shi to raise the price of his work to 350,000, and also retain part of the copyright, such as the very important cover rights and foreign copyright. This price tag has reached the level of first-class or even top writers in the industry. In the eyes of outsiders, it is simply an exorbitant price, and it will certainly scare away many units who are interested in cooperation. However, now Lu Chen will never easily write songs for others. As the saying goes, the rarer something is, the more precious it is. Although there are countless classics and fine works in his memory, he still has to sell them at a low price. On the one hand, Lu Chen doesn't want to wholesale these works from the dream world like cabbages. On the other hand, he also wants to set up his own style in the circle and industry. It's so expensive, buy it or not, it's up to you. Today's Lu Chen has such confidence and confidence. A quarter of his family's big debt has been paid off by him, and the pressure has been greatly reduced. Moreover, if the online crowdfunding plan is implemented smoothly, it will not be a problem to pay off all the debts in one fell swoop. Under such circumstances, Lu Chen is naturally able to hold his bottom line. And it can be predicted that in the future, his position on the works he owns will only get higher and higher. 350,000? It's just the beginning. Lu Chen said without hesitation, the price is not negotiable. If there are requirements for copyright, then increase the price. Lu Shi nodded without surprise. In this regard, Lu Chen's insistence was correct. She turned a page in her hand and continued, in terms of advertising endorsements, there are currently 3 companies in negotiations. One of them, Silver Horse Advertising Company, has proposed an endorsement contract for Senki Sportswear. I feel very good and am ready to agree for you. Senki Sportswear? Lu Chen's eyes lit up. What's their offer? Senki is a new clothing brand in the market, focusing on the sports consumer market of young people, so it has a lot of advertising investment in major media. It is not surprising to find Lu Chen. For most star artists, advertising endorsements have always been the focus of making money. Top superstars can earn tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of yuan a year in this regard. Especially in recent years, the international and domestic economic recovery has led to the growth of the consumer market, and the endorsement fees of stars have naturally risen. Lu Shi said, the endorsement contract provided by Silver Horse Advertising Company is 800,000 yuan a year, mainly for shooting promotional posters and a TV advertisement. If you are needed to be present for publicity, then the appearance fee will be calculated separately, 800,000 yuan. Compared with the endorsement fee of A-list stars, this price is only a fraction, but for newcomers, it is already very good, because shooting such posters and TV advertisements is also a promotion for yourself. Lu Chen nodded, yes, you can do this for me. There have been advertisers who came to him in the past, but the endorsement contracts provided were very unreliable, and Lu Shi rejected them all. Senki's brand positioning is mid-range, and it focuses on sports and health, which is very suitable for his image. Lu Shi smiled and said, I hope to add 1 million yuan. If you are more famous, there will be no problem. Lu Chen laughed. But whether it was Lu Chen or Lu Shi, they didn't expect that just a few days later, his reputation really went up another level. Chapter 179. From the time Wang Bin was arrested on the 17th to the short period of 3 days on the 20th, the domestic entertainment industry experienced a storm baptism. Several star artists were found to have participated in the seniors' party, and some have even been taken away by the police to assist in the investigation, and their reputation and future were ruined. For a time, the circle was in a state of panic, and everyone felt insecure, and even all kinds of publicity hype stopped a lot. And in the Waves blog, it was simply a group of demons dancing. All kinds of big V, small v, and speculators stirred up trouble. Gossip rumors and even rumors were flying everywhere, causing many innocent artists to be shot. Although Beijing Television was not an artist star, it was also shot. In fact, Beijing Television was not too unjustly shot, because as early as half a month ago, the official revealed the news that Wang Bin and Chen Feier and other big stars were invited to participate in the National Day Party, and even interviewed Wang Bin in the program to build momentum. As a result, who would have thought that Wang Bin would make such a big mistake? Although the official V of Beijing Television quickly issued an announcement to cancel all cooperation with Wang Bin and replace his performance program, the impact has already been made. Because the media revealed that Wang Bin's drug abuse was not a day or two, and started a long time ago. As a local snake in the capital, did Beijing Television really know nothing about it? Knowing the situation and still inviting Wang Bin to participate in such an important party, is that not encouraging the bad atmosphere in the circle? Some people even accused Beijing Television of hitting Wang Bin when he was down. Most of these doubts and accusations were untenable, but the internet was like this. Even if it was unreasonable, it would stir up some trouble, not to mention that some people deliberately stirred up trouble, which made Beijing Television somewhat passive. However, Beijing Television was not a vegetarian, and soon launched a counterattack in public opinion. First of all, the official blog refuted those false rumors, and also advocated the self-discipline of stars in the entertainment industry. At 8 o'clock in the evening of the 21st, when the storm caused by Wang Bin gradually began to subside, the official V of Beijing Television posted an official leak video on its Waves blog. The content of the video was very interesting. It was the rehearsal scene of the National Day Party in the T1 studio of satellite TV on the afternoon of the 17th. And the protagonist of the video was Lu Chen. The official V intercepted two of the rehearsal videos, which were the scenes of Lu Chen singing two songs of I Love You China, and launched a prize voting activity to all blog users in the post. TN, the content of the poll was very simple, two theme songs with the same title, which one do you prefer? Finally, the official V indicated that the audience's choice would determine the song Lu Chen would sing at the National Day Party. Anyone with a discerning eye knows that this blog post must be part of Beijing Television's crisis public relations. The purpose is to divert everyone's attention from Wang Bin, at least not to be involved with Beijing Television. However, this method of diverting attention was not objectionable. In fact, it was very interesting. Because of this, Lu Chen's two works aroused the curiosity and attention of many people, and the number of clicks and comments increased rapidly. At 8:24 p.m., Chen Fei reposted the blog post and commented that she would vote for the second song. In addition to Chen Fei, there were also many reposts and comments in other circles. Coupled with the official push, the topic was quickly stirred up. By 10 p.m., the number of votes had exceeded 200,000 plus. The most excited ones were Lu Chen's fans. In Lu Chen's Waves blog support group, Lu Jiajun's Group V, the comment area was flooded. The fans who support Lu Chen all praised the official leaked video of Beijing Television. Lu Chen is big and powerful. Our family's little Chen is getting better and better. Both songs are very good. I didn't expect him to write theme songs. The first song is not a theme song, is it? The trend is obvious. The second song has nothing to say. I'm convinced. Chen Fei said that she likes the second song, and I like it too. Lu Chen won't replace Wang Bin, will he? Beijing Television's National Day Party is a must-watch. Must-watch +1. Beijing Television is nothing. Lu Chen will definitely be on CCTV's Spring Festival Gala in the future. Looking forward to CCTV's Spring Festival Gala. Compared with ordinary fans, many people in the industry are much more professional in their evaluation. Chen Guodong, who once wrote the wonderful blog post The Silent Majority for Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me album, praised in his blog, Lu Chen's achievements in original folk songs are already well known. I didn't expect him to write such a wonderful theme song. The rich melody and musical ideas are really admirable. About the vote for Beijing Television, it really makes me feel embarrassed. I thought about it for a long time and didn't choose. In terms of the characteristics of the theme works alone, the second work undoubtedly crushes the first, but the first work combines the theme and pop music very well, full of bold innovation. He said, I like both of Lu Chen's works. I like them very much. If possible, I hope to be able to appear on the stage at the same time, but that's obviously impossible, so I didn't choose either of them. Chen Guodong didn't choose, but there were many people who voted for songs on the blog. As a result, Lu Chen's a cappella second song, I Love You China, beat the first song, I Love You China, by a wide margin of 72.89% to 27.11% during the 2-day allotted voting time. And his creative talent and singing strength have been praised by the vast majority of people. With this wave of publicity and hype by Beijing television, the number of blog fans has exceeded 6.5 million. Lu Chen's reputation in and out of the circle has also been big. Taking advantage of this, Lu Chen grandly launched the album crowdfunding plan, which had been delayed for more than half a month, on Wave's blog. The crowdfunding website was launched at the same time. Except for a few people, the term crowdfunding is unfamiliar to people all over the world. Therefore, Lu Chen deliberately briefly explained what crowdfunding model is in his blog post, and attached a website address at the same time. Clicking on the website address could directly log on to the crowdfunding website. For Lu Chen's fans, they may not care about what crowdfunding is, or the meaning contained in the term, nor do they want to know the meaning and market value of the crowdfunding model. What really aroused the interest of fans was that Lu Chen was finally going to release a CD record. Although it is said that after entering the new century, the domestic and international recording industry has been getting worse year by year. Nowadays, online sales have become the focus of album release. Even the evaluation criteria of gold record and platinum record include the sales data of music websites, but the meaning of real records is still very different. It's very easy to release an online album or a single, but it's not easy to release a CD record. First of all, there is the production cost. CD is far higher than the cost-free audio data. The cost and difficulty of sales and distribution are also higher than that of websites. Except for big stars, it is difficult to earn back the cost. Many singers, in order to brush up their image, have launched CD records. The sales data are often very bleak, and they are completely losing money to make money, or even puffing themselves up to look impressive. Many CD albums are half sold and half given, or given back to fans as gifts, and some are smashed in their hands. Therefore, although there are countless singers who dream of producing a CD record and getting the achievement of gold record, or even platinum record, only a small number of people can really do it. For entertainment agencies, unless they want to support a certain artist at all costs, they will never easily dig a big hole for themselves. The more stringent the cost control of a company, the more this is the case. But this market still exists. Releasing a CD record was a plan that Lu Chen had long thought about. He didn't want to puff himself up to look impressive and spend hundreds of thousands of yuan to brush up his image, so the crowdfunding model was the best choice. And the success of the online sales of You Who Sat Next to Me album has also boosted Lu Chen's confidence. His fundraising goal for this album is 500,000 yuan. There are a total of 4 support options. The first item, 1 yen yuan, 10,000 people, a lucky draw will produce a grand prize winner, and the prize is a laptop. The second item, 15 yen yuan, unlimited, supporters can get a genuine CD record of You Who Sat Next to Me. The third item, 100 yen yuan, 1,000 people, supporters can get a CD and Lu Chen's autographed commemorative poster, Lu Jiajun's custom-made 16 GB USB drive, keychain, metal nameplate limited set. The fourth item, 188 yen yuan, 1,000 people, supporters can get 2 CDs and Lu Chen's autographed commemorative poster, Lu Jiajun's custom-made 64 GB USB drive, notepad, keychain, metal nameplate limited set. Because it was his first crowdfunding, Lu Chen did not make the project too complicated, and there were only 4 support options. To be honest, he had no idea about the album crowdfunding. He didn't know if he could succeed in reaching the pre-funding goal of 500,000 yuan, and then successfully release his debut CD record. But the arrow on the bow had to be shot. Whether the crowdfunding website can become a hit depends on this first crowdfunding project. In order to achieve the best promotion effect, in addition to vigorously promoting in the live broadcast room, post bar, and QQ group, Lu Chen also at all the famous V accounts he knows on his blog, such as Tan Hong, Chen Fei, and so on. Fortunately, Lu Chen's fans are still very interested in the album crowdfunding project. After he officially launched the crowdfunding website, the number of visitors and member registrations began to grow gradually, and there were more and more. Then the first supporter appeared. He chose the first item and first supported 1 yuan. 1 yuan, this was the first money that the crowdfunding website received. Although it looks very pitiful, it heralds a brand new business financing model, which has officially stepped onto the big stage of the internet. It starts with an album record. Regardless of whether the final result is success or failure, Lu Chen has a feeling of creating history. Chapter 180. Meng Meng is an ordinary girl. Her family background is ordinary, her academic performance is ordinary, her high school is ordinary, and her appearance and height are also ordinary. She belongs to the kind of ordinary that is completely inconspicuous in the crowd. Of course, all 18-year-old girls have their own interests and hobbies. Meng Meng likes to sing and listen to music, and can even play a few simple songs with a guitar, although her level is also very ordinary. The most glorious moment of her 18 years of life was when she sang Edelweiss at the school's New Year's Day party last year, which won the applause of many students. Unfortunately, she didn't win the favor of the male god in her mind. But Meng Meng is not sad, because she knows the distance between dream and reality. She silently likes and never confesses. Just like she likes several singers and idols, but she will not fanatically chase stars and spend money to buy peripheral products. It's all to swindle money. She said to herself, if you like a singer, just buy his album, the others are used to swindle fans' money. Sometimes, Meng Meng also feels incredible for her rationality. It wasn't until 2 months ago that she saw a video in the QQ group. The content of this video is a program clip of a university graduation party. A very handsome boy is on the stage, playing and singing a song called Those Flowers. It is this singing video that Meng Meng has watched over and over again dozens of times that let her know Lu Chen. The girl's heart was suddenly knocked open. Meng Meng became a fan of Lu Chen. She searched for information related to Lu Chen on the internet, learned about the latter's blog, post bar, QQ group, live broadcast room, and also joined Lu Chen's fan support group, Lu Jiajun. In Lu Jiajun, where more than 80% of the boys are, because she can write some fresh articles and song reviews, and because she is a girl, Meng Meng's ID, Meng Meng, has gained a high popularity. This makes Meng Meng spend most of her leisure time in Lu Chen's fan circle. In this virtual big family, she is confident and beautiful. September 23rd is Wednesday, a very ordinary day. At 10:25 in the evening, Meng Meng finally completed all the homework exercises for today. Although her parents didn't have much expectation for her, Meng Meng herself wanted to be admitted to a second-tier university, so she was still very serious about her usual studies. She hoped to improve her grades in her last year of high school. But this did not hinder her love for Lu Chen. Meng Meng couldn't wait to log into Waves's blog. Checking her blog every day had become one of her habits. The Lu Jiajun group on Waves blog was one of her online homes. She liked to chat about music and Lu Chen's songs with thousands of friends in the discussion area. In this way, Meng Meng released the pressure from her studies. Out of habit, the first thing she opened was Lu Chen's personal blog. Lu Chen FMX, number of fans, 6720056. He gained a lot of followers again. Seeing that the number of fans of the blog had increased by tens of thousands, Meng Meng showed a happy smile. When Lu Chen's popularity increased, she always had a sense of accomplishment and felt sincerely happy. In the past, when she saw the brainless fans of a certain star, she always secretly despised them in her heart, but now it seemed that she would soon do the same. Meng Meng stuck out her tongue and her eyes moved to Lu Chen FMX's latest blog post. Her eyes suddenly lit up. The crowdfunding campaign for the album, You Who Sat Next to Me, began. Meng Meng had long known that this album, which was selling well on QQ Music, was going to be released on CD. She raised both hands in favor and eagerly looked forward to it. Although the album downloaded from the website was very cheap and convenient, it didn't have a sense of reality, which made her CD player useless. It was really a huge pity. Meng Meng, like many music lovers, firmly believed that the sound quality of CDs was better than lossless high-quality audio files. Now that the long-awaited CD record was about to come out, she was simply excited. It was just that what made her wonder was what crowdfunding was. After reading the content of the blog post, Meng Meng finally understood that the so-called crowdfunding was actually everyone pooling money together. If the pre-funding goal was reached, then the official CD album would be released. If the goal couldn't be reached, how could it not be reached? Meng Meng knew that many Lu Jiajun fans were waiting for this CD album just like herself. She had to do her part. Meng Meng clicked on the URL in the blog post and entered the so-called crowdfunding website. The login speed was very fast. The design of the website was simple and crisp, refreshing, without any annoying pop-up advertisements. The banner area in the middle was the promotional picture of the album, You Who Sat Next to Me. Lu Chen looked very handsome holding a guitar. According to the website guide, Meng Meng successfully registered a member. After the account was successfully established, she could choose which way to support Lu Chen's debut album. There were a total of 4 choices. The first lottery choice was directly ignored by Meng Meng. She never believed that this kind of lucky event with a small probability would fall on her head. She didn't even buy a lottery ticket. The second option was to support 15 yuan in exchange for a genuine record. Meng Meng subconsciously wanted to choose to support. However, the third and fourth support options made Meng Meng hesitate. Signed posters, customized USB drives for the support group, key rings, metal plates. She really wanted them. But buying peripherals was contrary to her previous habits, which made her very confused. Although the money was not much, and Meng Meng could fully support it, if her classmates and friends knew that she, who had never bought celebrity peripherals, had made an exception, wouldn't that be a bit shameful? Who cares? Meng Meng gritted her teeth and manipulated the mouse to click on the fourth support option. She wanted to buy the 188 yuan package. But what Meng Meng didn't expect was that as soon as she pressed the mouse, a striking prompt popped up on the screen: "This item is sold out, please forgive me. You can choose other support items." What? Meng Meng suddenly felt like she was struck by lightning. How could it be sold out? At this time, she noticed that under the support button, there was a display of support number, 1000/1000. Limited to 1000 sets. Meng Meng realized that she was late. Fortunately, the 100 yuan package showed 975/1000, indicating that 25 sets had not been sold. So, Meng Meng hurriedly clicked on the third option, or it would be too late. "This item is sold out, please forgive me. You can choose other support items." It was still the same prompt. Meng Meng was stunned. She quickly pressed F5 to refresh the page and found that it was already 1000/1000. The word "support" above the 2 buttons had all turned into "sold out" in gray and could no longer be clicked. Both packages were sold out. Ah! Meng Meng dropped the mouse and screamed with both hands holding her head. Her heart was really depressed to the extreme. There were obviously still some just now, but in the blink of an eye, they were all snatched up. If she had known earlier, she wouldn't have hesitated just now. Maybe she could have grabbed a set. This was the limited commemorative edition of Lu Chen's debut album. The first item, the 15 yuan CD record, had no quota limit, and could be bought at will. But Meng Meng felt as if she had lost her beloved treasure. With infinite resentment, she logged into the discussion area of Lu Jiajun Group V and posted about her grievances. As a result, Meng Meng found that there was more than one person who had the same experience as herself. Many people were complaining that they didn't get the limited edition package, or that they hesitated and wanted to buy it again, but it was too late. Some people jumped out and proudly showed off their achievements. This guy actually opened 5 accounts and bought 5 limited edition sets of 188 yuan. Meng Meng finally knew the reason why she didn't get it, and for the first time, she spat at someone on the internet. Then, the other party was drowned in the endless saliva. He was sprayed to the point where he was covered in cuts and bruises, and he quickly disappeared. Everyone had no choice, so they ran to Lu Chen's blog and strongly demanded that the limited edition support be opened again. Lu Chen didn't expect such a situation at all. When Miss Meng complained on the blog, he was on the 29th floor of the same building as his studio, in the headquarters of the crowdfunding network, Beijing Mucan Crowdfunding Network Company, Limited. The newly established company, which was spun off from Lu Chen's studio, occupied an area of 500 square meters. The renovation alone cost more than 1 million yuan, and it was completed in a rush. At present, the company has employed nearly 30 employees. Because the crowdfunding network was officially launched in the evening, more than half of the employees were working overtime in the office area to ensure the smooth operation of the website. And they were fortunate to witness the birth of a business legend. The 100 and 188 yuan packages were all sold out in only 2.5 hours. Miss Li Mushi stood in front of the projection screen and announced to the employees in high spirits, "We have completed the scheduled crowdfunding goal, and our first project has been a complete success. A newly established website, a brand new business model that has not been tested by the market, without any advertising investment, the first operational project was declared a success in just over 2 hours. The 500,000 crowdfunding goal has now been broken through, and it is still rising. Although a 7% commission is not much, which website can make money immediately after its operation? Most websites have to desperately spend money in the early stages and rely on free services to attract customers. The crowdfunding network has subverted this conventional model, which is simply an incredible miracle." Among the employees present were senior insiders who had been poached by headhunters, and they knew very well what this meant. The future of this company was boundless. Everyone was very glad that they joined as the first batch of employees, because the company promised that as long as they worked hard and made achievements, any employee could get options as a reward. If the crowdfunding network went public one day, the employees who owned the shares might become millionaires in one fell swoop. Such stories are not uncommon in the IT industry. Everyone couldn't help cheering and clapping their hands one after another. Li Mushi turned around, extended her hand to Lu Chen, and said with a smile, "Chairman Lu Chen, congratulations." Lu Chen shook hands with her and said with a smile, "Same to you." Chapter 181. Mucan Crowdfunding. This name was decided by Li Mushi. Mu represented her and Li Mubai, and Chen was naturally Lu Chen. Lu Chen was the chairman and legal representative of Beijing Mucan Crowdfunding Network Company, Limited, while Li Mushi was the CEO and CFO. Although Lu Chen accounted for 51% of Mucan Crowdfunding's shares, according to the agreement between the two parties, his shares would be diluted sooner or later. The company would introduce venture capital and equity incentives, and the possibility of going public in the future was not ruled out. Lu Chen had no intention of developing in the IT industry. His eyes were always fixed on the stage under the spotlight. But the success of the crowdfunding website was also his success. The first crowdfunding project on the website platform was Lu Chen's album, which was directly related to Lu Chen's vital interests. The more successful the crowdfunding website was, the higher the value of the shares in his hands. Therefore, Lu Chen was grateful and admired Li Mushi, who established Mucan Crowdfunding. Without this returnee Miss Li, the online operation of the crowdfunding website would not be so smooth. The future was hard to say, and he would also be involved in too much time and energy. Now, it could basically be said that he could sit back and enjoy the fruits of others' labor. In the past 2.5 hours, Lu Chen was still a little excited when he recalled it. The promotional blog post of Waves's blog was released at 8:00 in the evening, and the crowdfunding website was launched at the same time. In just 190 minutes, the amount of crowdfunding climbed from 0 all the way to the current 500,000 plus. The process was a bit thrilling. As of 10:30, the number of registered members of the website had reached 26820, the first third and fourth support slots were all filled, the 2000 limited commemorative sets were sold out, and the pre-sales of single records reached 13,000 plus. The crowdfunding goal of 500,000 was enough to ensure that Lu Chen's physical album would achieve a small profit. Originally, he was not fully sure about this, but now the fact was that 500,000 was just the beginning, and there was still great room for growth, which represented rich profits. Lu Chen only now discovered that he had underestimated his influence and the potential power of his fans. Unknowingly, Lu Chen had a large number of real die-hard fans, or real fans. This discovery made him happier than achieving his crowdfunding goal. Lu Chen was deep in thought. Li Mushi was looking at him. Originally, Li Mushi was not very interested in Lu Chen and had doubts about Lu Chen's business ideas. She even suspected Lu Chen's purpose in getting close to Li Mubai. There had never been a lack of people who fawned on the rich and powerful around the Li clan disciples. But after returning to the capital, in the process of establishing Mukan crowdfunding, Li Mushi gradually put aside the prejudice in her heart. The outstanding graduate of Wharton had to admit that Lu Chen provided a genius idea, and the friendship between Lu Chen and Li Mubai was sincere. The two even almost quarreled over the issue of shares. Lu Chen originally intended to give the controlling stake to Li Mubai, but Li Mubai firmly refused. This made Li Mushi have a more favorable impression of Lu Chen, and she even found many of the latter's advantages. Needless to say, Lu Chen's appearance was tall, handsome, sunny and healthy. It could be seen that he was the kind of person who often exercised. He was not the kind of pretty boy or little fresh meat at all. He was very manly. His talent in music was obvious to all. Not only did he win the championship of Singing China, but he also successfully released his debut album and gained a foothold in the entertainment industry. Li Mushi has never paid attention to the artists and stars in the entertainment industry, but Lu Chen gave her the feeling that he was mature, reliable and resolute. He didn't have the arrogance and impetuosity of young people, and had a different kind of charm. If Li Mushi wasn't, well, she might really like Lu Chen. Miss Li's eyes couldn't help but turn to Lu Shi's face. The latter was right beside Lu Chen, concentrating on browsing the blog with her mobile phone. A faint smile flashed in Li Mushi's eyes. Lu Shi didn't notice Li Mushi's eyes. She had been paying attention to the movements on the internet. Lu Chen, many fans said that they wanted to buy a commemorative set but didn't get one. They want us to increase the number of support. A look of excitement appeared on her elder sister's face. Should we add more? Lu Chen was also moved. He couldn't help but look at Li Mushi. Boss Li? Now is not the 1980s and 1990s. Selling CD records alone is basically a loss. A genuine record is only 15 yuan, just counting the cost of production and distribution. 200,000 sales barely break even. If you add the publicity expenses, 300,000 sales are not profitable. Nowadays, it's really not easy to sell 300,000 sales of a record. In contrast, the profits of peripheral products are much higher. For example, a 100 yuan set, the cost is at most 1,000, and the sales volume is 50,000 yuan. A 188 yuan set can earn 100. As far as the current situation is concerned, the reservation of 1,000 copies of each of the two sets is too conservative. It is possible to increase it to 3,000 or even 5,000. That's several times the profit. Of course, Lu Chen first has to ask for Li Mushi's opinion. After all, she is the actual controller of the crowdfunding website. What Lu Chen didn't expect was that Li Mushi pondered for a moment and replied, "If you ask for my opinion, then I suggest not to increase it. The so-called limited edition must have a limited number. If you miss it, there will be no more. Only then will it appear precious and valuable. Otherwise, those who didn't buy it will be satisfied, and those who grabbed it before will feel uncomfortable." From the perspective of the website, not changing the rules at will is a manifestation of credibility. I suggest you announce the success of crowdfunding on your blog, and then apologize to your fans, saying that it can't be increased, and let them wait for the next opportunity. The more hype, the better. Lu Chen felt that Li Mushi was very reasonable. He even thought of a business term, hunger sales. Although Lu Chen didn't like this deliberate business behavior, this time it was purely an accident. He thought about it, nodded and said, "That's it. The limited edition package will not be increased, and the CD record that supports 15 yuan will be given an additional poster. Posters belong to printed matter, and the cost of printed matter will be greatly reduced with the increase of the quantity. For example, the price of 1,000 copies and 10,000 copies can be said to be the difference between heaven and earth. Giving posters will increase the cost a little, but if it can drive the sales of records, it will be worth it." Li Mushi said with a smile, "That's perfectly fine. In addition, I want to tell you a piece of good news, that is, the creative copyright protection of the crowdfunding website has been approved, and you can get the certificate by this Friday at the latest." Really? Lu Chen was simply surprised. For the crowdfunding website, the confirmation of this creative copyright protection is too important. Otherwise, in terms of this model alone, it would be very easy for others to copy and imitate it. Once the big shots in the industry are interested, how can the weak crowdfunding website compete with them? Now that the copyright protection approval has been passed, the crowdfunding website has precious and incomparable time for development. Even if it is only a short year, it is enough to grow up and become strong. There is no doubt that the Li family has played a huge role in this. Otherwise, with Lu Chen's own strength, it is estimated that 99% of the time he can't get this certificate, and he can't expect to make a big bucket of gold by relying on a creative idea. Of course it's true. Li Mushi's eyes turned, staring at Lu Shi without blinking, and asked, "Sister Shi, how about we go out to celebrate in the evening and have a drink in the bar?" Lu Shi didn't doubt her. She shook her head with a smile and said, "Next time. It's late now. You should rest early." Li Mushi smiled and nodded. At 11:30 that evening, Lu Chen posted a new blog post on his blog. In this long blog post of thanks and apology, Lu Chen first expressed his most sincere thanks to all the fans who supported the crowdfunding project of You Who Sat Next to Me album. Because of everyone's support, the crowdfunding project was a complete success in just a few hours. Then he apologized to those fans who did not order the limited edition package. Although the number of ordered packages could not be increased, he decided to give fans who supported the 15 yuan CD record an additional poster. In addition, more updated peripheral products will soon be withdrawn, so there is no need to be disappointed if you can't order them now. As soon as Lu Chen's blog post was posted, it received a lot of responses from fans. Most fans expressed understanding. After all, limited edition peripheral products were very common. They were happy with the success of the crowdfunding project, and those who had ordered hoped to get the record as soon as possible. The good interactive atmosphere between the two sides and the hot topics created have attracted the attention of many people on the blog. Coupled with the support of the original fan group, the number of registered members of the crowdfunding website that has just been launched has been rising. By the next day, September 24th, the number of registered members of the crowdfunding website exceeded 100,000. As the first and only crowdfunding project, in addition to the 3 support options that have been sold out, the only unlimited 15 yuan support has reached 50,000 plus. As a result, the amount of crowdfunding for You Who Sat Next to Me exceeded 1 million, reaching more than 200% of the target. The setting time of this crowdfunding project is as long as 15 days, which can be said to be full of potential. Due to the online operation of the crowdfunding website and the success of the first funding, coupled with the influence of Lu Chen, the crowdfunding model has inevitably attracted a certain amount of attention in and out of the circle. Many entertainment media companies and singers have discovered that there is such a creative way to release albums and peripheral products. On the basis of ensuring profits, they collect money first and then customize the delivery, which greatly reduces the risk. Some companies have approached Mucan crowdfunding for projects and tried to operate in the same way. Shrewd people outside the circle, or in another circle, have keenly discovered the advantages and potential market of this new financing model. Coupled with the Creative Copyright Protection Certificate obtained by the crowdfunding website, venture capital has begun to pay attention. But for Lu Chen, things on the crowdfunding website basically have little to do with him. In the next few days, he has a full schedule of work. The first is the rehearsal on the 25th and the official recording on the 29th of the Beijing Television National Day Party. On National Day, Lu Chen will also attend the wedding of Chen Jianhao and sister Na. At 8:00 in the evening of September 27, the China Music Chart for the fourth week of August was updated on time. Chapter 182. China Original Music Chart, or Original Music Chart for short, was jointly created by the Chinese Musicians Association in conjunction with dozens of media such as QQ Music, NetEase Music, Pop Radio, and so on. It is the most authoritative pop music chart in China. The Original Music Chart is published every weekend, ranking the top 50 domestic pop songs according to the Popularity Index. The chart index is based on the data provided by major music media, including broadcast, download, on-demand, purchase and other values, converted according to a fixed formula. In the domestic pop music scene, the ranking of the Original Music Chart to a large extent represents the current trend of pop music. The fourth week of China Original Music Chart in August was released on time on September 27. So, the people in the circle who paid attention to this list were surprised to find that they saw something very extraordinary. That was the name of Lu Chen. Lu Chen's The Brother Who Slept on My Upper Bunk / Popularity Index, 2135, ranked 49th this week. Lu Chen's The Bright Times of Youth / Popularity Index, 3714, ranked 30th this week. Lu Chen's Love in the Wind / Popularity Index, 4056, ranked 28th this week. Lu Chen's Time Ballad / Popularity Index, 4470, ranked 25th this week. Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me / Popularity Index, 5389, ranked 16th this week. Lu Chen's Those Flowers / Popularity Index, 5578, ranked 14th this week. Lu Chen's The Brightest Star in the Night Sky / Popularity Index, 7262, ranked 4th this week. 7 Songs. As a newcomer who has just made his debut, Lu Chen unexpectedly won 7 important seats on the Original Music Chart in one fell swoop with his debut album, You Who Sat Next to Me. It was simply a miracle. In the history of the Original Music Chart, it was very common for the same album to have multiple works on the chart, but it was basically 2 or 3 songs. If it was an excellent work of a superstar, it was not uncommon for 5 or 6 songs to be on the same chart. But it was really rare for 7 of the 10 works in an album to be on the chart. This must require the average level of the whole album to be extremely high and to be highly recognized by the public. If it was easy to achieve before the emergence of the Original Music Chart in the 1980s and 1990s, it was really difficult now. The reason was very simple. The Original Music Chart was an original chart. No matter how popular the foreign cover works were, they could not get on the chart. At present, the power of original works in the country was declining. It was normal for an album to have 1 or 2 masterpieces. Basically, no company was willing to put 7 or 8 masterpieces in one album. It would be a reckless waste of God's gifts. Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me was undoubtedly an outlier. It first sold well on QQ Music, and even triggered the industry to think about domestic original music, and set off a school folk wind in the pop music world. The quality of the works in the album was too high. The 10 songs were all excellent works, and some of them could even be called classics. It could be said to be a collection of masterpieces, showing Lu Chen's creative talent to the fullest. Therefore, in addition to being shocked, everyone felt that the appearance of this miracle was only natural. In the 3rd week of September, 3 of Lu Chen's works have already appeared on the Original Music Chart. After a period of brewing and fermentation, this week Soaring to the Sky was actually not so difficult to accept. What really made people jealous was that Lu Chen's impact on the original music chart was obviously just beginning. Next week, the brightest star in the night sky was very likely to top the list, and then all 10 songs would be on the chart. For all 10 works of an album to be on the original music chart, that was a real miracle that could not be surpassed. It seemed that Lu Chen was creating such a miracle of dominating the chart. The pop music world, which had been quite quiet, was stirred up by Lu Chen's album. More people focused their attention on the new generation of singer. His reputation in the industry had improved imperceptibly. On September 25, Lu Chen participated in the official rehearsal of Beijing Television's National Day Party. On September 29, Lu Chen completed the live recording. In addition to Life on a String, sung by the top 5 contestants of Singing China, he relied on I Love You, China to sing solo, and even appeared on the stage longer than many star artists. I Love You, China used the second real theme version. In order to get rid of the impact of Wang Bin's scandal, Beijing Television used Lu Chen's 2 works with the same title on the Waves blog to shift the focus. It also benefited Lu Chen. His cooperation with Beijing Television this time was undoubtedly a win-win result. The morning after the recording of Beijing Television's National Day Party, Lu Chen drove to Chen Feier Studio. After entering the new century, the domestic entertainment industry is growing and flourishing. With the emergence of a large number of new media and the influence of foreign trends, many big stars have left their original signing companies and set up their own personal studios and companies. There are undoubtedly many advantages to setting up their own studio or company. First of all, artists can fully control their own destiny, and will not be controlled and manipulated by the signing company in their career, and will hold all aspects of interests in their hands. However, this kind of independent model is usually only suitable for people who already stand at the top of the circle. They have strength, connections, money and fame, and can make others choose to cooperate rather than suppress and exclude them. Naturally, they will do very well. If it's a newcomer or a half-popular or half-black star who opens a studio, it will be much more difficult. Without the support and resource investment of a signing company, everything depends on their own hard work, and 99% of them will be finished. In the circle, there are many arrogant artists who choose to start their own business, and as a result, they lose their hard-earned capital and disappear from the crowd, and have since disappeared and been forgotten. If Lu Chen didn't have the huge wealth from the dream world as a support, the highest level he could do was to sign up with an ordinary company as a small artist, and then work hard to make money to maintain a living. He directly set up his own studio, which was tantamount to taking a big step ahead of time. And this step, for most artists, may not be crossed in their lifetime. Chen Feier Studio was established 7 years ago. At that time, she was already the queen of sweet songs in the pop music world, and countless people supported her after she became independent. Therefore, Chen Feier Studio was very famous in the circle, and it was unknown how many newcomers wanted to sign under her name. Star studios can also sign people. When he arrived at the place, Lu Chen wanted to wait downstairs, but Chen Feier insisted that he come up. According to Sister Fei's words, since he was here, how could he not come up and have a cup of tea? Not giving face? Lu Chen could only obey. Chen Feier Studio is located on the 38th floor of a luxury business building in the central business district of Beijing. Its scale is comparable to that of a small and medium-sized company, and there are many employees who serve her. Sister Fei. What Lu Chen didn't expect was that as soon as he got out of the elevator, he saw Chen Feier standing at the door. Today, Chen Feier was wearing a Chanel long dress, and her long hair was as beautiful as jade. Lu Chen. She opened her arms with a smile and gave Lu Chen a beautiful hug. Welcome. Lu Chen said with a smile, thank you, Sister Fei. He believed that not many people could enjoy such treatment. It could be judged from the expressions of the assistants behind Chen Feier. Chen Feier let go of her hands, took half a step back, and said very seriously, I should thank you. The 2 songs you wrote for me are very good. I like them very much. It's great. Lu Chen said with a smile, as long as you like them. He promised to write 2 songs for Chen Feier. After he finished it the day before yesterday, he directly sent the music score and sample to the latter. Therefore, there was today's meeting schedule. Do you know? The eyes of the Queen of Sweet Song flashed with a moving look. I've listened to both songs dozens of times and tried to sing them more than a dozen times. The more I sing them, the better I feel. I've decided that they will be the first and second main songs of my new album. For any songwriter, it is undoubtedly a great honor and glory for their work to become the main song of an album by a queen. Once the album sells well, it will definitely be a good thing for both fame and fortune. Generally speaking, those who are qualified to write the main song of Chen Feier's album are the top songwriters in the circle. In addition, for a queen of heaven like Chen Feier, releasing an album is a very cautious and even grand matter. The choice of the main song must be the best of the best, which takes a long time and a lot of energy to determine. The 2 songs written by Lu Chen have only been in Chen Feier's hands for a day or 2, and she has decided to make them the first and second main songs of the new album. In addition to her great trust in Lu Chen, she also really likes these 2 songs. In particular, Chen Feier is now facing the juncture of transformation. She has great expectations for this new album. It's really not easy to make such a decision. It was also because of this decision that Chen Feier invited Lu Chen over. Lu Chen smiled and said, I feel so much pressure. Chen Feier smiled and said, I believe in your strength. My album will be built around your 2 works. Let's visit my studio first, and then we'll go to Flying Stone Records together. Chen Feier and Flying Stone Records have always maintained a very good cooperative relationship. Most of her albums were produced by Flying Stone Records, and this new album was no exception. Chen Feier invited Lu Chen to Flying Stone Records today to determine the main song of the album. In addition, there are issues of arrangement and the overall style of the album to be discussed. As a songwriter, Chen Feier hopes that Lu Chen will participate in it and give advice for her new album. For Lu Chen, being able to intervene in the production of a Queen of Heaven's new album and include his name in the song list is also an excellent opportunity to improve his reputation and career. Therefore, for the 2 songs, Lu Chen only asked Chen Feier for a friendship price, 500,000. Of course, Chen Feier doesn't care about hundreds of thousands. Not to mention 200,000 or 300,000 for a song, even if it's 1 million, she can afford it. But this represents the good friendship and contractual relationship established between the 2 sides. Chapter 183. Beijing, New Era Art Park. The New Era Art Center was established in 2001. It is located between Haidian Park and Beijing University, covering an area of nearly 700 mu. It is one of the key construction projects of Beijing's art and culture. After more than 10 years of development, the New Era Art Park has gathered a large number of well-known domestic film and television, music, literature, and art production units. Big and small companies and studios are as many as thousands. It can be called a place where humanities gather. The famous Flying Stone Records is in the New Era Art Park. In the conference room, Lin Jijie rubbed his eyebrows tiredly, and there was a trace of irritation in his eyes. Sitting around the conference table with him were the vice president of Flying Stone Records, the manager of the brokerage department, the manager of the public relations department, a number of agents and several composers and arrangers in the production department. It could be said that they were all gathered together. The theme of this morning's meeting was the planning of the debut album of the newly established girl group of Flying Stone Records, MSN Beautiful Girls Group. MSN Beautiful Girls Group has a total of 3 members. MSN represents the initials of the 3 people. They are all about 20 years old, and both their appearance and singing skills are excellent. Lin Jijie was the initiator of the meeting, but he obviously couldn't fully control the situation. There was a lot of opposition to the album planning plan formulated by the music director, very much so. Such a situation was more or less beyond Lin Jijie's expectation, but he has always had a resolute character and never flinched because of difficulties. I emphasize again that it is the right choice to invite Lu Chen to help produce this album. His creative talent is obvious to all and he is trustworthy. MSN Beautiful Girls was a girl group newly launched by Flying Stone Records to cater to the market of young people. For this veteran record company, the establishment of this girl group was not easy. The two girl groups they launched a few years ago ended in failure, causing considerable losses to the company. As the saying goes, once bitten, twice shy. If it weren't for the popularity of girl groups now, and the popular boy and girl groups making a lot of money, Flying Stone Records would not have made up their mind to set up a new girl group again. The three members of MSN were personally selected by Lin Jijia. In order to make this group a hit, he teamed up with the planning department to develop a full set of publicity plans. Among them, the most important was MSN's debut album. In the end, Lin Jijia did not expect that his plan would encounter such great resistance within the company. Director Lin Xiangjuan, vice president of Flying Stone Records, smiled and said, "Lu Chen is indeed an excellent singer-songwriter, but his works are mainly folk songs, which are not suitable for MSN-style positioning," and, the middle-aged woman in her 40s knocked on the table with her fingers and emphasized, "He asked for 350,000 yuan for one of his songs. With such a price, who can't we invite? Moreover, I believe that the authors in the company will be able to come up with sufficiently outstanding works." She looked at the three composers and arrangers who had signed with Flying Stone Records, with encouragement in her eyes. The latter all straightened their backs, and one of them, a gentleman with black-rimmed glasses, nodded and said, "As long as the company needs it, we colleagues will do our best to produce good works." After a pause, he said in an unquestionable tone, "At least it won't be worse than others." The man's name was Fan Jun. He was the chief contracted author of Flying Stone Records and a famous composer and arranger in the circle. He has written many excellent works, but in recent years, there have been few excellent works. Fan Jun has cooperated with Flying Stone Records for nearly 20 years. He has a high status in this veteran record company. With the support of Xiangjuan, he was really not afraid to go against Lin Jijia. And in Fan Jun's heart, he was very dissatisfied with Lin Jijia's album planning. Lin Jijia's idea was to invite outsiders to supervise MSN's debut album and write the title song, while letting several senior authors as assistants. If it was a big figure in the circle, Fan Jun wouldn't have any ideas. Who the hell was Lu Chen? He was just a newcomer who had just made his debut and was lucky enough to produce an album that sold well. He dared to offer an astonishing price of 350,000 yuan per song. He really didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Fan Jun was not convinced. He had been working in this industry for so many years, and the results of his works were well known. How could he be willing to submit to a junior? If Lin Jijia really insisted, he would dare to flip the table and fall out with him. He could make a living wherever he went. Yes, Fan Jun was very strong-willed. Others echoed him one after another and put forward various reasons for opposition. Their reasons were nothing more than that Lu Chen's offer was too high, his qualifications were too shallow, his creative style was not right, and so on. They were just short of pointing at Lin Jijia's nose and saying that he was talking nonsense. Lin Jijia's face was as gloomy as water. As one of the largest record companies in China, Flying Stone Records has experienced prosperity and recession, almost went bankrupt and was reborn again. It was really not easy to persist and survive until now. In recent years, Flying Stone Records has been seeking innovation and change, conforming to the development of the times, and striving to compete for market share with the emerging entertainment media companies, and has also achieved considerable results. But the competition in this industry was too fierce. In the eyes of outsiders, Flying Stone Records was a big and powerful company, but Lin Jijia was very clear about the company's current problems. The first was the phenomenon of a shortage of singers and artists. There were a lot of singers signed by Flying Stone Records, and there were several in the A-list, but all of them were old people from the 1980s and 1990s. They were more than enough to defend their achievements but not enough to make progress, and lacked enough appeal among young people. Of course, the company also attached great importance to the cultivation of new people, but so far, there was no one who could take the lead. It was under such circumstances that Lin Jijia promoted the establishment of MSN. However, he underestimated the resistance from within the company. Lin Jijia knew that, as the music director, he had touched the interests of some people, so he was regarded as crossing the line. Encountering opposition was inevitable. But at this time, the cell phone on the table suddenly vibrated. Lin Jijia picked up the phone and glanced at it, and his face changed a little. "Sorry, I'll take the call first." He immediately got up and left the conference room and went out to answer the phone. The atmosphere in the conference room relaxed. Yi Xiangjuan chatted with several department managers. Fan Jun chatted and laughed with the singer's agents, looking like he had won. With such fierce opposition from everyone, Lin Jijia's plan was bound to fail. Everything would go back to its original track. After a while, Lin Jijia came back. He didn't sit down again, but waved his mobile phone at everyone and said, "Let's put this matter aside first." Yi Xiangjuan frowned and said, "Director Lin, this is not good, is it? Everyone is very busy. I think it's better to finalize the new plan first, so as not to waste time. Tomorrow, the company will have a national day-long holiday." She thought that Lin Jijia was playing a trick of delaying time in order to win the support of the company's senior management. Lin Jijia smiled and said, "I also want to finalize it, but Miss Chen Fei is coming here soon. I believe everyone knows that her new album will be produced in our company." The cooperation between Chen Fei and Flying Stone Records has a long history. Any of the former's albums is extremely important to Flying Stone Records, and there is no room for neglect. The weight of this, Yi Xiangjuan could still weigh it. But she still had doubts. "Director Lin, did Miss Chen Fei come for her new album? I didn't see any notice from the company." Lin Jijia nodded and said, "Yes, she came with Lu Chen, because Miss Chen Fei has chosen the two songs Lu Chen wrote for her as the first and second title songs of her new album." What? Everyone at the scene was shocked. Chen Fei actually used Lu Chen's works as the title songs of her new album, and it was two songs. She was a big shot at the Heavenly Queen level. What virtue and ability did Lu Chen have? Fan Jun suddenly felt that his face was burning, and he was a little ashamed. Fan Jun had long known about Chen Fei's new album. Fan Jun even had the ambition to write the title song for this album. Once it could be realized, his career and reputation would undoubtedly take a new step. But Fan Jun was also very clear that his position was not enough. He might be able to get the benefits of the song collection and arrangement for Chen Fei's new album, but it was basically a delusion to write the title song. He never thought that Chen Fei's title song would actually choose Lu Chen's work, which he disdained. In addition, Lu Chen could write the title song for Chen Fei, so it would be a piece of cake for him to produce MSN's album. Their previous reasons for opposition had all become a joke. Whether it was Fan Jun or Yi Xiangjuan, they had a feeling of being slapped in the face on the spot. Seeing the ugly expressions on the faces of these people present, Lin Jijia was really happy in his heart. Chen Fei's assistant informed him yesterday that Chen Fei would come to Flying Stone Records this morning. Lin Jijia also just learned the reason why Chen Fei came to the company. To tell the truth, he was also very surprised. He couldn't figure out why Chen Fei chose Lu Chen. With Chen Fei's status in the circle, she could casually invite top authors, and few creators could refuse her. It should be known that for this album, Chen Fei had the idea of transformation. The difficulty of its production was bound to be very high, and once it was successful, its influence would also be huge. What song did Lu Chen write that moved this queen of sweet songs? Lin Jijia was really curious. But on the surface, he still maintained his composure and said, "MSN's album plan will be postponed. I'll go to meet Miss Chen Fei first. Does President Yi want to come together?" This time, no one raised any objections, and several composers and arrangers looked at each other. Yi Xiangjuan felt like she had swallowed a fly and couldn't spit it out even if she wanted to. She could only force out a smile. Then let's go together. Chapter 184. When Lin Jijie received a call from Chen Fei, Lu Chen had just driven his Zhonghua X7 into the art park. Chen Fei was sitting in the passenger seat. She didn't take the Mercedes-Benz business car worth more than 1 million yuan that lagged behind. It seemed that she had a special fondness for Lu Chen's domestic car, which was only worth more than 200,000 yuan. The area of the New Era Art Park couldn't be said to be very large, but it was already very rare in the Millennium Capital, where every inch of land was worth an inch of gold. If it was built into commercial housing, real estate or office buildings, the value would inevitably be astronomical. Because to the southwest of it was Hadian Park, to the northeast was Capital University, and to the north was the ruins of Yuanminjiwan. The geography, culture, and surrounding environment were irreproducible. The layout of the New Era Art Park was also completely different from the ordinary commercial district. There were no high-rise buildings here. Instead, there were rows of woods, flower beds, and grasslands. Low-rise buildings with unique characteristics were hidden in the thick greenery, giving people the feeling that they had come to a large forest park. It was Lu Chen's first time to come to the New Era Art Park. According to the car navigation, he stopped in front of a gray and white building. The building has only 3 floors, and the yellow and black Flying Stone Records logo hanging on the wall is very eye-catching. The metal material is shining in the sun, telling Lu Chen that he is not in the wrong place. Tian, Flying Stone Records and Lu Chen also saw Lin Jijie and others standing at the gate. Lu Chen and Chen Fei got out of the car together, and the people of Flying Stone Records greeted them warmly. Miss Chen Fei, Although Chen Fei has been working with Flying Stone Records for many years, and the relationship between the two sides has always been good, and the former has also come to Flying Stone Records many times, the etiquette of Flying Stone Records was still very thoughtful. Lu Chen, after welcoming Chen Fei, Lin Jijie turned his attention to Lu Chen. "Welcome, welcome." Lu Chen shook hands with him and said with a smile, "Thank you, Director Lin. Please advise me." Lin Jijie laughed heartily, "I don't dare to advise you. Your achievements in music have already surpassed me. Let me introduce you to a few colleagues in the company." Through his introduction, Lu Chen met Yi Xiangjuan, Deputy General Manager of Flying Stone Records, and Lu Tai, Manager of the Brokerage Department. There was also Fan Jun, the Chief Composer and Arranger. Lu Chen did not know if it was an illusion, but he felt that the Chief Composer was not very friendly to him. When he shook hands with Lu Chen, there was a fake smile on his face, and there seemed to be some hidden meaning behind his polite words. People of the same trade are afraid of each other? Lu Chen didn't care too much. Accompanied by Lin Jijie and others, he followed Chen Fei into Flying Stone Records. This record company, which has enjoyed a reputation in China for 30 years and was once second to none in scale and strength, monopolized this 3-story building, so the space inside was very spacious, and the style of decoration showed a rare atmosphere. Rows of fully transparent floor-to-ceiling glass brought in the outdoor sunlight and scenery. The simple and ingenious layout made working inside a kind of enjoyment. On the walls of the corridor, there were also large portraits, all of which were photos of star artists who used to be or were still under Flying Stone Records. For Lu Chen, they were also famous. The quality of the employees of Flying Stone Records was very high. Perhaps it was because they were used to seeing big stars. No one surrounded Chen Fei, and when they bumped into him, they greeted him politely. Such an atmosphere made Lu Chen secretly sigh at the depth of the foundation of Flying Stone Records. The group of people sat down in the spacious and bright VIP reception room. After the tea and coffee were served, Lin Jijie asked, "Fei, has the title song of your new album really been decided? To tell the truth, when he heard Chen Feier say on the phone that it had been decided, and that Lu Chen would be the one to write the title song of her new album, the music director of Flying Stone Records still couldn't believe it. As early as more than a month ago, Chen Feier began to ask for songs for her album. Lin Jijia helped recommend several new works by well-known authors in the circle, but she was not very satisfied with them. Chen Feier's requirements for this album were very high. First of all, it was a transformation in style. As we all know, it is not easy for a famous singer to change his style, because her fan group has long been fixed, and everyone is used to and likes the singer's original style. Therefore, once the work after the transformation is not satisfactory, it will inevitably lead to the loss of the original fans, and if new fans can't be attracted, the popularity and brand value will drop big. In the pop music world, there are countless singers who have been eliminated from the market due to the failure of transformation. It was even more difficult for Chen Feier. She has been the queen of sweet songs for more than 10 years. Her singing voice and image have long been deeply rooted in people's hearts. Although she is now facing the problem of shrinking market, she can rely on her past achievements for a lifetime. But Lin Jijia was also very clear that what Chen Feier was pursuing now was not fame and fortune. She had already earned enough money, and her reputation had reached its peak. She had won many awards. What she was pursuing was undoubtedly another breakthrough in her career. It was a great challenge for any creator to achieve her goal through a new album. Could Lu Chen do it? Lin Jijia didn't doubt Lu Chen's strength and talent. Otherwise, he would not have insisted on letting Lu Chen supervise MSN's debut album. But the situation of Chen Feier was completely different. Her fan base was mainly the two generations after the 70s and 80s, while MSN's main audience was the 90s and aughts. This determined the great difference in the genre and style of the song. The creative talent shown by Lu Chen was basically concentrated in folk and light rock. He wouldn't let Chen Feier change to sing folk or rock, right? Thinking about that picture, Lin Jijia would be drunk. Chen Feier chuckled and said, "Big brother Lin, you'll know after you listen to it. I believe that Lu Chen's new work will not let you down. My album will revolve around these two songs." Her voice was soft and melodious, but with unshakable firmness. Yi Xiangjuan, Fan Jun and others looked at each other in dismay. They didn't expect Chen Feier to have such great confidence in Lu Chen. Was Lu Chen's new work really good? Yi Xiangjuan faintly regretted that her previous opposition to Lin Jijia seemed to be a bad decision. Fan Jun secretly clenched his fists, and he was more unconvinced in his heart. This kind of unconvinced was actually the vigilance, fear and even disgust of the rising stars of the younger generation. But in front of Chen Feier, Fan Jun didn't dare to directly expose his inner emotions. He needed to wait for a more suitable opportunity. Lin Jijia said with a smile, "Then I really have to listen to it." After a pause, he said, "Feier, our Flying Stone Records has just set up a girl group called MSN Beautiful Girls Group. I want them to get to know you and ask you to give them more advice." Lin Jijia and Chen Feier have known each other for many years, and have also produced the latter's album. The relationship between the two is very good. So, taking advantage of this opportunity, he wanted to recommend MSN to Chen Feier. If this heavenly queen was willing to help them, then it would be a great help to MSN. MSN Beautiful Girls Group? Chen Feier was stunned at first, and immediately said with a smile, "This name is a bit interesting, then let them come over." MSN. Lu Chen's expression was a little strange. He knew that MSN was the first letter combination of the word beautiful girl, but the name reminded him of a chat software in the dream world. After half a minute, the three members of the MSN Beautiful Girls group appeared in the VIP reception room. The three people wore the same style of white dresses, but the color of the skirt was divided into three colors, red, yellow and purple. They were basically about the same height, and they were equally beautiful and lovely, exuding a youthful atmosphere. Their faces were full of excitement and excitement. After coming in, they all saluted Chen Feier. "Hello, Sister Fei." Chen Feier nodded and smiled. "Hello. Xiaochu?" What surprised her was that one of the members of MSN was Mu Xiaochu. Mu Xiaochu smiled shyly. "Hello, Sister Fei, hello, Senior." The latter three words were said to Lu Chen. Lu Chen was equally surprised. Hello, Xiaochu." He didn't expect that Mu Xiaochu would become a member of a girl group after signing with Flying Stone Records. Lin Jijia said with a smile, "Let me introduce you, Mu Xiaochu, 19 years old, from Beijing Institute of Foreign Languages, is one of the top 5 singers of Singing China." Lu Chen and Chen Feier were already very familiar with her, and there was no need for a special introduction. Mu Xiaochu was a member of M in MSN, S member Su Jiejia, also 19 years old, was originally a trainee of Flying Stone Records. She looked sweeter, with an oval face, willow leaf eyebrows, red lips and white teeth, and a cheerful personality, showing her canine teeth when she smiled. The last one was called Ning Tian, 20 years old, from the Northern Conservatory of Music, and could be regarded as a real professional background. Ning Tian was the oldest of the three, and her figure was the best and the most beautiful. Her eyes were very moving, and when she smiled, it seemed to speak, which made people involuntarily attracted. MSN Beautiful Girl Group was really worthy of its name. Chen Feier shook hands with them one by one and exclaimed, "They're really beautiful. Big Brother Lin, your eyes are so good. I believe that their group will be successful." Lin Jijia said, "That depends on everyone's support." With that, he looked at Lu Chen meaningfully. "Lu Chen, I'm going to ask you for a song. You and Xiaochu are brothers and sisters. You must help me with this." Lu Chen said with a smile, "Big Brother Lin, you said it, so I must come up with good works. Isn't it the same to sell songs to anyone? Not to mention that he still needs help from Flying Stone Records. The CD record, poster peripheral production and distribution of You Who Sat Next to Me were all completed through Flying Stone Records." Lin Jijia laughed and didn't continue on this topic. Otherwise, Yixiangjuan, Fan Jun, and the rest would lose face. He said, "Then let's listen to your new work first." He didn't know why, but the music director of Flying Stone Records was full of confidence in Lu Chen's new work. He couldn't wait to hear it. Chapter 185. The recording studio of Flying Stone Records, whether in terms of scale, area, or equipment conditions, is the top in China. As an established record company, Flying Stone Records is still very willing to invest in hardware. There was once a big shot who, after recording an album in its recording studio, once sighed that recording songs in such an environment can elevate his state to the highest, and even beyond the limit. Although the praise of this big shot was somewhat exaggerated, the recording studio of Flying Stone Records is really famous in the industry, so Chen Feier will always put her album here to be produced. Lu Chen, who came here for the first time, was also shocked. Even if he was not a professional in recording, he could fully see the extraordinariness of the recording studio of Flying Stone Records. The investment was probably tens of millions of yuan. In contrast, the recording studio of Rock Studio was really pitifully weak. But Lu Chen still admired Wang Jing and her brother of Rock Studio. Under such limited conditions, they still helped him complete an album of excellent quality, which was enough to be proud of. Chen Feier entered the studio. Lu Chen, Lin Jijia, Yixiangjuan, Fan Jun, MSN and other people of Flying Stone Records stayed in the outside monitoring room. Then there were 6 or 7 more people, all of whom rushed over after getting the news. Among them, Lu Chen even saw a familiar face, a star who was often active on the screen. They obviously all wanted to hear Chen Feier's new work. Chen Feier skillfully put on the monitoring headphones and stood in front of the microphone. She first closed her eyes, then took a long, deep breath and began to prepare her emotions. Those excellent and experienced singers can adjust their emotions to the best and most suitable state for the melody of the song in just a few seconds. Only when the emotions are in place can the emotions in the song be fully expressed and not give people a feeling of false emptiness. Chen Feier has been in the recording studio for more than 10 years, and it was unknown how many times she has been in and out of the recording studio. It should be very simple and easy for her to prepare and adjust her emotions. But after more than half a minute, she still did not open her eyes. This was very unusual. After all, this was just an audition, not a real recording, so the requirements weren't that high. The only explanation was that Chen Feier had high expectations for himself, and even higher expectations for the song. Even if it was just an audition. The monitoring room was quiet. No one was talking. Even their breathing was controlled to be light. Although with the hardware conditions of Flying Stone Records recording studio, shouting and beating gongs and drums in the monitoring room could not be heard by the people in the recording studio, everyone was subconsciously afraid of affecting Chen Feier. The three girls of MSN stood in the corner of the monitoring room. Through the big glass window, they looked at the Queen of Sweet Song without blinking, looking a little excited. After a while, Chen Feier opened his eyes. Her lips curled into a faint smile, and she made an "okay" gesture to the recorder. The latter nodded knowingly and pressed the play button of the accompaniment on the console. The accompaniment tape used in Chen Feier's audition was completed by Lu Chen with Wang Jing at Rock Studio. At best, it was a semi-finished product, and it definitely needed to be rearranged and recorded. Of course, it was still no problem to use it in the audition. This song will be used in the new album by Chen Feier, and as the prelude to the title song, was clearly transmitted to the ears of everyone present through high-quality monitoring speakers. Lin Jijie furrowed his brows. Because just listening to the prelude, the style of Lu Chen's new work was not the same as he expected, and it was a bit rough. The corner of Fan Jun's eyes twitched, and an imperceptible sneer flashed across his face. But Chen Feier's subsequent singing instantly made their expressions freeze in an instant. I have a flower, planted in my heart, blooming in my heart, morning and evening I eagerly await those who have the heart come to dream. Woman flower swaying in the world of mortals, woman flower swaying gently in the wind, only hoping that there is a pair of gentle hands, can comfort the loneliness in my heart. In the monitoring room, except for Lu Chen, all the musicians were shocked. Because they couldn't believe that the one singing in the recording room was Chen Feier. It wasn't that Chen Feier's singing was not up to standard. In fact, she sang very well, affectionately, and in a deep mood. It was that this song was simply subverting Chen Feier. As the famous queen of sweet songs in China, Chen Feier's works have always been famous for being sweet and moving. The songs she sang were always full of tenderness and honey, sweet and refreshing, bringing people a happy and beautiful feeling. Listening to her songs was like drinking honey water. In and out of the circle, whenever sweet songs were mentioned, people first thought of Chen Feier. However, what Chen Feier was singing now was a downright love song, a nostalgic and sad love song. Her singing was no longer sweet and soft, but low with the taste of the vicissitudes of time, and even a touch of desolation. This was a completely subversive change, a major transformation. I have a flower, the fragrance of the flowers fills the branches, who will sincerely seek traces of the fragrance. Not long after the flowers bloom, what can be broken must be broken. Women are like flowers, flowers are like dreams. I have a flower, growing in my heart, true love is incomprehensible. Weeds are everywhere, have occupied the hillside, narcissism is the most painful. Women are like flowers, unable to stand the test of time. Women are like flowers, exuding fragrance but speechless. Women are like flowers, competing for beauty only to be appreciated. A simple song sang all the loneliness and sadness of women. Although the lyrics were short, it was just right to use flowers as a metaphor for women. Women were like flowers were like dreams, everything was so empty that people couldn't grasp it, and the beauty of poetry was vividly reflected in the depths of love. This was a sad and euphemistic song, a sad and sighing song. It expressed feelings, expressed love, and controlled loneliness. Lin Jijia looked at Lu Chen in disbelief. How could he write such a song? In the recording studio, Chen Feier was singing to the point of forgetting her feelings, and inadvertently tears had already wet the corners of her eyes. She debuted in her teens, and all the way to the present, she didn't know how many ups and downs and hardships she had experienced. She was glorious in front of others, but she was crying behind her back. Those jealous slander, those rules, and those with ulterior motives, she was able to stick to her bottom line and didn't fall into the darkness, not only because of the help of her friends, but also because of her own strength. All along, she had carefully guarded her feelings and never opened her heart to anyone easily, because in the entertainment industry, there were too few people who were truly trustworthy and reliable. Those gentle pursuers might have hidden motives and selfishness. In the past, Chen Feier had been involved in a lot of scandals. In addition to the deliberate hype arranged by the company, the others were maliciously hung up on by others, which made her more cautious and vigilant about relationships. Until now, she was still alone. But she was also a woman who had fully matured. Many lonely nights, she longed for a sincere relationship, longed to be picked by someone. When taking a bath, she stood in front of the mirror and stared at her proudest self, but her mood couldn't be described. Just like the song Woman Flower sang, self-admiration is the most painful. When Chen Feier opened the music score and sample sent by Lu Chen, and heard this song for the first time, she really cried. After love, you know the importance of love, after being drunk, you know the strength of wine, flowers bloom and fade, but in the end, it's empty, fate doesn't stay, like the spring breeze comes and goes, women are like flowers in a dream. She was a woman flower in the wind. She hoped for a pair of gentle hands to soothe the loneliness in her heart, she wished she had a strong arm to lean on. She hoped to have a home to settle her heart, she hoped that someone could read her true feelings and appreciate her beauty. She longed for love, which could nourish her heart, she wanted to grow old with a loved one, and she wanted to have everything a woman should have. This song was really written in Chen Feier's heart, so she made a decision without hesitation. Woman Flower. This was the title song of her new album, and it was also the name of the album. Chen Feier closed her eyes and let the crystal tears fall from the corners of her eyes. She sang with so much heart. She opened her eyes again and saw Lu Chen through the glass window. Lu Chen was also looking at her, with tenderness and understanding in his dark eyes, which went straight to her heart. It touched her heartstrings. Inadvertently, the scene of going shopping and singing karaoke with Lu Chen that day reappeared in her mind. She remembered the feeling of Lu Chen's fingers gently pinching her cheek. Chen Feier looked away a little unnaturally and finished singing the last verse. Fate doesn't stay, like the spring breeze comes and goes, women are like flowers in a dream, women are like flowers in a dream. She suddenly had a sense of loss, and her heart was empty as if she had lost something precious. There was a moment of silence in the monitoring room, and then applause suddenly broke out. The most excited one was Lin Jijia. His palms clapped very hard, and he didn't care if they were red. Because he heard a classic love song and the most affectionate and touching voice from Chen Feier. This song made him no longer have any doubts about Chen Feier's transformation work. He firmly believed that this album would definitely be a success. The music director of Flying Stone Records had a sense of honor to witness history. In the applause, Fan Jun was silent. He listened to Chen Feier's new song with a nitpicking mentality, but this song made him unable to nitpick. Even he had no idea about Lu Chen. Because in this world, there were always geniuses that people could never surpass. Lu Chen was such a genius. Losing to a real genius, Fan Jun didn't feel ashamed. He was just ashamed of his previous unbalanced mentality. Lin Jijia's decision was correct. Lu Chen was fully qualified to supervise the production of MSN's debut album. That was the honor of Flying Stone Records. Note: Woman Flower, lyricist, Li Anxiu / composer, Chen Yaochuan. Chapter 186. In Lu Chen's dream world, the song, Woman Flower, is one of the classical music masterpieces of this heavenly queen singer. This song describes that in the dreamy season, the protagonist, who longs to be loved, is silently waiting for her dream lover, leading her and inspiring her to walk out of ignorance and towards maturity. But these things can't be said to others, and it's not good to take the initiative to show a strong desire to talk. The whole song has a total of 4 sections. Many of the same lyrics need to be sung repeatedly, but the emotions expressed each time are not exactly the same. Therefore, only a very good female singer can really grasp the essence of the work. Lu Chen wrote Woman Flower to Chen Feier after careful consideration. First of all, this work can't be sung by just anyone. Singing the feelings in the song requires the precipitation of time and life experience. Those young singers in their teens and 20s can't sing the real taste at all. For example, the sample of Woman Flower was sung by Wang Jing of Nirvana Studios. She should be able to sing it well. The melody and syllables are in place and accurate, but she can't sing the mature and vicissitudes of life. Chen Feier is completely different. She is a big singer who has been on the road for more than 10 years. She has experienced the baptism of wind and rain, and is fully capable of controlling this work. Secondly, Chen Feier intends to achieve a transformation through the new album. If this song, Woman Flower, is successful, then her transformation will undoubtedly be natural. She can get rid of the image of a fairy girl who has not changed for 10 years, and let everyone see the other charming side of the heavenly queen. That day when he went shopping with Chen Feier and sang karaoke, he discovered another side of her. This is a great challenge, and Lu Chen likes challenges. Imagine, a singer at the heavenly queen level completes a gorgeous transformation under his guidance. What a great sense of accomplishment it was. Chen Feier didn't let Lu Chen down. Even beyond his imagination. Chen Feier's interpretation of this work could be said to be perfect. Her traditional, nostalgic, and gentle voice inadvertently touched the listener's heartstrings. She could hear her loneliness and heartbreak, as well as her longing and true feelings. What was truly frightening was that the accompaniment she was using now was still a rough, half-finished product, and her voice had not undergone any post-processing, but the effect was already astonishingly strong. Chen Feier had not only relied on luck to become the Empress of Heaven. After singing Woman Flower, Chen Feier took off the monitoring headphones and walked out of the recording studio. She did not sing the second song that Lu Chen had written for her. The corners of the heavenly queen's eyes were still stained with sparkling tears, but she did not feel shy. Her beautiful and exquisite face was filled with the joy of returning from sadness and happiness. She looked incomparably moving. You sang so well. Lin Jijia praised from the bottom of his heart, the song is good. I was doubting it just now, but now I'm convinced. He gave a thumbs up to Chen Feier and Lu Chen at the same time. Chen Feier wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and said with a smile, the main thing is that the song written by Lu Chen is good. My album will use this song as the title and title song of the album. Brother Lin, what do you think? No problem at all. Lin Jijia nodded heavily and said without hesitation, the name of this song should be called Woman Flower, right? The main style of nostalgic love songs is very suitable for your transformation. For an album, the title song should be determined first, and then the whole album should be composed around the title song, so as to ensure the unity of style. He asked, didn't Lu Chen write another one? Why didn't you sing it? The song, Woman Flower, made his ears feel as if they had been washed once, but it was still not enough. Chen Feier said with a smile, I can't sing it anymore. Let's sing the second song next time. It wasn't that she really couldn't sing it, but there were too many emotions integrated into this song. If she continued to sing it, she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to control her mood and affect her image. After all, this was Flying Stone Records, and there were so many people in the monitoring room. Lin Jijia understood after a little thought. He said with a smile, that's just right. I'll let MSN Group sing a song too. Please give me some advice with Lin Jijia. The music director of Flying Stone Records has a special feeling for MSN, which he established with his own hands. So even if he behaved a little too eagerly, he didn't care about the strange eyes of others. Such an opportunity was very rare. If he could get the approval or even appreciation of Chen Feier, then it would be of great benefit to the future development of MSN. As for Lu Chen, not to mention. He was counting on Lu Chen to help supervise the production of MSN's debut album. Chen Feier said with a smile, "Okay, she and Lin Jijia have known each other for many years and can be regarded as friends. She must help with this little favor." It was really nothing for her to help a few newcomers. Lu Chen also nodded. He also knew Lin Jijia's thoughts. Asking Chen Feier for advice was one thing. The most important thing was probably to let him listen to the original sound of MSN first, so that he could tailor-make songs for MSN. Lin Jijia hurriedly summoned the three girls of MSN, Mu Xiaochu, Su Jiejia and Ning Tian came over, bowed and said, "Thank you, Sister Fei." "Thank you, Teacher Lu." They all knew that Lu Chen was likely to write songs for his album. And Lu Chen was qualified and capable of writing the title song of Chen Feier's album. They were all intoxicated by the song, Woman Flower, just now and fully felt the strength of the two in front of them. Thinking that they had the opportunity to sing Lu Chen's works, the MSN girls were a little excited. At present, in the pop music world, there were many boy and girl groups competing for the young people's market. There were too many idol groups, and the competition was too fierce. The problem of homogeneity was very prominent. Many boy and girl groups imitated the style of Europe, the United States, Japan and South Korea, especially the South Korean groups. And it was really too difficult for MSN to copy this successful route. They had to find another way to stand out. Then what did they use to speak? It must be a really good song that could be sung by countless people. Lin Jijia put his bet on Lu Chen. Now was their chance to perform. Three beautiful girls entered the recording studio. While they were preparing, a man in the monitoring room greeted Chen Feier, "Sister Fei." Chen Feier said with a smile, "Hello, Hu Su." The elegant man was nearly 1.8 meters tall, with a handsome appearance and the charm of a mature man. He was about 30 years old, with a slightly deep voice and a very special flavor when he spoke. His name was Hu Su. He was a very famous actor. He had played roles in many films and TV series. He had a very good evaluation in the circle and belonged to a very potential artist. When Hu Su came in just now, Lu Chen recognized him. And Chen Feier once worked with Hu Su in a movie, so the two sides knew each other. The entertainment industry could be said to be very big, but it could also be said to be very small. There was often an intersection between star artists. Even if they didn't know each other, it was easy to have the opportunity to get to know each other. As the saying goes, if you act well, you sing well. Hu Su intended to develop in pop music. He sang 2 episodes of TV series and wanted to release a solo album, so he appeared in Flying Stone Records today. There were also those who sang well and acted well, such as Chen Feier. With her fame in the music industry, even if she didn't take the initiative, many movie companies would come to her door to invite her. It's just that Chen Feier didn't have much idea about making movies and TV series. She only played a few small roles. Hu Su praised, "My luck is really good today. I got to hear a really good song." His eyes looked at Lu Chen and he took the initiative to reach out his hand. "This is Lu Chen, right?" Lu Chen nodded, shook hands with him and said, "Hello, big brother Hu Su. I've seen your movie." Hu Su smiled heartily and said, "I've also seen your competition in Singing China. I admire your strength." Lu Chen modestly said, "Big brother Hu Su praises me too much." Hu Su shook his head and said, "Not to mention your talent in music, just based on your appearance, you can fully develop in the film and television industry. You are much more handsome than me. When I see you, I'm worried that I'll be robbed of my job." The people around him were amused by his words. Lu Chen couldn't help laughing. This person was really interesting. Speaking of which, in the past, not to mention Chen Feier, even if he looked at Hu Su, he was also looking at someone from another world. But now, he could talk to the other party on an equal footing, and even joke with each other. However, Lu Chen keenly noticed that Chen Feier gave him a meaningful look. His heart moved, and he said with a smile, "Big brother Hu Su is too modest." He didn't continue to talk about the topic raised by the other party. At this time, the MSN girl group began their singing in the studio. The song sung by the three girls was the famous song "Rainbow After the Rain" by the former girl group Seven Color Rainbow. This song, with a bright rhythm, beautiful melody and sunny lyrics, was very suitable for female chorus, and at the same time, fully expressed their vocal characteristics. Mu Xiaochu's voice was as sweet and clean as ever, with a bit of a natural sound. Su Jiejia's voice was a bit more neutral, with a hint of hoarseness, and was very pleasant to listen to. As for Ning Tian, her voice was not as recognizable as Mu Xiaochu and Su Jiejia, but in terms of singing skills, she was definitely better than the latter two. She controlled her breath freely and grasped the melody and rhythm of the song very well. In the chorus part, the three-person group brought to the audience a very layered feeling of girls. Although their cooperation with each other was not very tacit, there was almost no disharmony or conflict. As a minority girl group, MSN was completely qualified in terms of appearance, image, singing and voice. After they finished singing, Chen Feier clapped his hands and said with a smile, "It's really good. It's very nice." The three girls expressed their gratitude shyly. Lin Jijia almost couldn't wait to ask Lu Chen, "Teacher Lu, can you give me some advice?" Lu Chen said with a smile, "I have no opinion now. Let me think about it again after I go back." At this moment, Lu Chen still didn't know that Lin Jijia didn't just want him to write a song for MSN. Chapter 187. When leaving Flying Stone Records, Chen Feier was still in Lu Chen's car. On this trip to Flying Stone Records, Lu Chen's harvest was not small. First of all, Lu Chen has already negotiated with Flying Stone Records, and the other party will spare enough time to make the CD record of his debut album, You Who Sat Next to Me, as well as posters, USB drives and other peripheral products. And in terms of price, Flying Stone Records also gave Lu Chen a special discount of 5%. Don't underestimate the discount of only 5%. It should be known that the profit from the customization and distribution of Flying Stone Records was actually not high. Especially in the distribution area, they cooperated with Xinhua Publishing House. The money from the channel was basically earned by Xinhua Publishing House. In addition, Lin Jijia invited Lu Chen to write 2 songs as the title song of MSN's album, and asked him to co-produce. The meaning of producing an album was different from that of inviting songs. The latter only needed to write the work, hand over the money and the goods, and that was it. At most, he would point out the problem of melody and singing, and he didn't need to care about anything else. The producer in the music industry was mainly responsible for the music production of the record. The music producer must have excellent musical accomplishment and practical operation ability, and rely on professional skills and experience to create the best sound effect for the record. This role was similar to that of the director of a movie. The producer's task was to point out the mistakes of musicians and singers in the early recording of the record in time in the recording room, and to guide the recording engineer in the later mixing of the record. Therefore, the producer shouldered a very important responsibility. The producer was responsible for the whole album, and had a high say and decision-making power in the recording process of the singer's album. Even if it was a helping nature, it was very rare for a big company like Flying Stone Records. Because Lu Chen was not a member of Flying Stone Records, and Flying Stone Records itself had many talents in this area, such as Lin Jijia himself. He had produced at least hundreds of records and had rich experience. This undoubtedly reflected the importance that Flying Stone Records, or more accurately, Lin Jijia attached to Lu Chen. Even Lu Chen didn't expect that the music director of Flying Stone Records would invite him to co-produce MSN's debut album. It should be known that he didn't have much qualifications and experience in this regard. In terms of experience, it was Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me album that he had just completed not long ago. Of course, he did not work for nothing as a producer. Flying Stone's starting price for 2 songs plus assisting in the production was 1 million yuan. This kind of price was enough to invite the top authors in the industry. Of course, Lu Chen agreed. In addition to the generous rewards, accumulating relevant experience in this area was also very important to him. In fact, Lu Chen didn't know that if he hadn't written the song, Woman Flower, for Chen Feier to shock Lin Jijia's opponents, he might not have been able to get the contract. The stubbornness and pride of a large company were not easily shaken by any newcomer. Sister Fei, while driving, Lu Chen asked, "What's the problem with Hu Su just now?" Previously in the monitoring room, when Lu Chen was talking to Hu Su, Chen Feier gave him a wink. Lu Chen understood the wink, but he didn't understand the reason why Chen Feier hinted to him. Hu Su's evaluation seemed to have always been very good. He looked very good, and his speech and manner were very cultured. Chen Feier said with a smile, "Hu Su, this person. How do I say it? It's hard to see the real thoughts in his heart, and he does things with a very strong purpose, but he hides it very well. Most people can't see it. Just now, I was worried that you would be dizzy from his praise and promise something casually. Utilitarian, hypocritical." This was Chen Feier's evaluation of Hu Su. Lu Chen understood and said, "Thank you, Sister Fei, for reminding me. I will pay attention." Compared with Hu Su, Lu Chen certainly believed in Chen Feier. If Chen Feier hadn't cared about him, he wouldn't have needed to tell him this and remind him. It was impossible for Chen Feier to deliberately slander Hu Su behind his back. What he said must be the truth. For people like Hu Su, it was undoubtedly the right choice to keep a distance and stay away from him. Chen Feier sighed softly and said, "The entertainment circle is too complicated, and people's hearts are unpredictable. Some people smile in front of you, but they will only stab you in the back. If you don't pay attention, you may be used by others." She has been in the circle for more than 10 years. She has encountered both good and bad things. She naturally has a deep understanding of human nature. Let's not talk about this. She shook her head and said with a smile, "You see, I speak ill of others behind their backs for you. How are you going to thank me?" The Queen of Sweet Songs smiled a little slyly. Lu Chen smiled bitterly, "Sister Fei, if you want to thank me, then I'll do whatever you say." Chen Feier asked with a smile, "Are you free tonight?" "Tonight?" Lu Chen was depressed, "I really don't have time tonight. I'm going to a bachelor party." "Bachelor party?" Chen Feier was surprised, "Your friend is getting married tomorrow?" The so-called bachelor party was a pre-marriage custom spread from abroad. Friends held a party for the bridegroom who was about to say goodbye to being single. There were usually all kinds of happy programs. Of course, in the domestic environment, there were definitely no strippers at the bachelor party. Lu Chen explained, "The groom is the owner of the bar where I used to work. His name is Chen Jianhao. Now we are friends. The bride is Zhang Nana of the Bionics. I call her Sister Na." "Chen Jianhao? Zhang Nana?" Chen Feier thought for a moment and said, "I'm a little familiar with the name Chen Jianhao. He used to be in the circle. I met Zhang Nana once some time ago. The song she sang was also written by you, right?" Lu Chen nodded. Chen Feier immediately became interested. "Can you tell me your story?" Lu Chen scratched his head a little. "In fact, there's nothing to say. Sister Fei, if you want to know, let's find a place to sit down and eat and talk. I'll treat you at noon." Chen Feier smiled with curved eyebrows. "Okay." She thought for a moment and said, "I won't eat your meal for nothing. I'll also put the CD records and peripherals of my new album on your crowdfunding website. I think it's very interesting. Sister Faye, are you serious? Lu Chen was shocked and couldn't believe his ears. This was a big pie falling from the sky. His album has been successfully operated on the crowdfunding website, but if the crowdfunding website wants to really open up the situation and attract more people's attention, it obviously needs vigorous publicity and investment. If Chen Feier's transformational work can also be put on the crowdfunding website for crowdfunding, the number of fans attracted will definitely be much more than that of Lu Chen. At that time, she will shout on her blog, which will be more effective than any advertisement. In addition, not to mention the income from the crowdfunding website. In fact, Lu Chen is willing to help Chen Feier operate this album even if he doesn't want a penny. Once his fame and brand are out, there will inevitably be venture capital. At that time, he will sell part of his shares, which will be enough to pay off the rest of his family's debts. It's really a great thing. This meal must be worth at least $1 million, right? Chen Feier glanced at the stunned Lu Chen and said, "Of course it's true. Would I lie to you?" Lu Chen smiled, "Thank you, Sister Faye." He hurriedly turned on the car navigation, searched for a highly rated Western restaurant on it, and took Chen Feier to eat. This meal must be treated well. It's not easy for a big star to eat. When they got there, Chen Feier had to go to the nanny car that followed behind and rummage for a hat and sunglasses to cover her beautiful face, so as not to be recognized and watched. The place Lu Chen chose was good. The environment was elegant, and the service and dishes were very high grade. The two of them had a good time eating the meal. Lu Chen told her about working and singing at Forget Grass Bar. Chen Feier regretted that if it wasn't a bachelor party, she could go with Lu Chen in the evening. After lunch, Lu Chen sent Chen Feier back to her studio, and then drove to Forget Grass Bar. For such a big thing as marriage, Lu Chen originally wanted to help, but was refused by Chen Jianhao. According to him, Lu Chen's time was precious now, and there was no need to waste it on these boring things. Although Lu Chen didn't feel bored. On the door of Forget Grass Bar, there was a sign that said, "Owner has a wedding, closed for business." When Lu Chen entered, the waiter inside was preparing the scene of the party. The bartender, David, was very surprised to see Lu Chen. "Oh, look who's here, our big star." Lu Chen smiled and gave the other party a punch, and then flew backstage. Everything inside was so familiar, and the scenes of the past emerged in his heart, making him feel very emotional. In the afternoon, Lu Chen helped with the decorations in the bar. These things originally didn't need Lu Chen to do, he just used this way to say goodbye to Forget Grass Bar. There were a lot of memories here. When night fell, Chen Jianhao's friends arrived one after another. The bionics came, and the temperament of the leader Qin Hanyang changed a lot from before. He had a bit of a star's style. The boss of Blue Lotus, Chang Wei, also came, and he brought the North Needle Band. It was worth mentioning that although the North Needle Band took two of Lu Chen's works, their new album hadn't been released yet. Although they were also signed to Light Rain Media, the limelight was all taken by the bionics. However, the lead singer of the North Needle Band, Gan Lang, was still in high spirits. When he saw Lu Chen, he specially took the initiative to greet him, very enthusiastically thanked him for the songs he wrote, and said that the North Needle Band's new album would be released soon. As time went on, more and more people appeared in the bar. Most of the people Lu Chen didn't know, and he estimated that they weren't friends from the same circle. Many of them were singers and musicians, but a lot of people recognized Lu Chen and came over to get close to him. Now in the circle of Hohai, Lu Chen was already a legend. Many bar singers saw him as an idol. At 8:00 in the evening, the main character finally appeared, the big boss Chen Jianhao, who was about to say goodbye to being single. Chapter 188. Cheers! Countless glasses were raised high, and the golden liquid in the glasses was bubbling with white foam. Under the bright light, the golden liquid glittered, and the air was filled with the unique aroma of beer. The guests who came to Forget Grass Bar greeted Qinjianhao with the beer in their glasses. They congratulated him on saying goodbye to being single and entering the palace of marriage. A famous person once said that only a man who has been married and has a family will truly understand what responsibility is and can truly mature. Some people also said that marriage is a man's prison and grave. From then on, the eagle flying against the wind will have its wings tied. Only they know the bitterness of it. But no matter what, the friends gathered here to send their most sincere blessings to the groom-to-be. Enjoy your last moments of being single. Amidst the laughter and applause, Chen Jinhao drank a full glass of beer. People are in high spirits when encountering happy events. The boss of Forget Grass Bar was obviously several years younger. He was full of heroic spirit when drinking. Anyone who came over to toast and congratulate him did not refuse. For the bachelor party in the evening, Forget Grass Bar removed most of the tables and replaced them with long dining tables filled with all kinds of drinks and snacks, as well as decorative flowers. The light melody of the music echoed in the bar. The waitresses in the Snow Bunny Girls' uniform carried plates and shuttled through the crowd with light footsteps, adding countless joyful atmosphere to the scene. Compared with the bunny girls in the bachelor party abroad, their dressing was much more conservative, but it was cute and pretty enough. There were no strippers, which was a small benefit for the groom-to-be and his friends. Dang! 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 Someone knocked on the plate. When everyone's attention turned to him, he quickly jumped to the stage, turned on the microphone and said, "Dear friends and distinguished guests, I suggest that our groom-to-be, Brother Jianhao, perform for us first. He can sing, dance, or tell a joke. What do you think?" Good. Many guys who were eager to see the world in chaos immediately shouted and even whistled. Chen Jianhao was pushed onto the stage by people. He said with a wry smile, "Asking an old man like me to sing and dance, isn't that asking for my life? You guys are too ruthless." Blue Lotus's boss, Chang Wei, directly exposed him. "Brother Chen, you don't need to be modest. Back in the day, you were the famous little prince of rock and roll. Even if you only have half of your skills left, you can still hold the fort." The little prince of rock and roll. Lu Chen almost spat out the beer in his mouth. Imagining the younger version of Chen Jianhao, with long hair, holding a guitar and singing rock and roll, the scene couldn't be more beautiful. Everyone roared with laughter and cheered, "Sing a song." You, Chen Jianhao angrily pointed at Boss Chang and said, "Just you wait." The harsh words had been spoken, but the song still had to be sung. Chen Jianhao did not hesitate. Perhaps he was a little tipsy. He called for the Bionics. They collaborated on the classic rock song of the Black Ravens, "Tomorrow Reborn." The Black Ravens was a national rock band active in the late 1980s and early 1990s. They had a total of 3 albums, with a total sales of more than 20 million, and were regarded as the mainstay of national rock. Unfortunately, in September 1993, the lead singer and soul of the Black Ravens, Gao Yi, accidentally fell off the stage during a concert rehearsal, resulting in a serious skull injury. She eventually died in Chaoyang People's Hospital at the age of 32. Gao Yi's unexpected death was undoubtedly a heavy blow to national rock. The Black Ravens, who had always been the leading role, was unable to recover. 2 years later, they disbanded, leaving national rock fans with endless sorrow. The fall of the Black Ravens was also a microcosm of the decline of national rock. Due to the rise of commercial pop music, pure rock and roll suffered a serious impact. The market continued to shrink, and its influence became smaller and smaller. Some rock and roll singers followed the trend and took the initiative to change their overly personal and idealistic style, singing light rock and roll or folk songs. However, there were also many rock and roll people who stubbornly guarded the last position of national rock and did not bow to the market. However, most of these protectors were unknown. Now, national rock has become a distant noun, and only a very small number of people are still struggling. The song, Tomorrow Reborn, sung by Chen Jinhao is not only the famous work of the Black Ravens, but also the pinnacle of national rock. As long as a singer has sung rock and roll, they have covered it. Lu Chen saw another side of Chen Jinhao from this. In Lu Chen's impression, the owner of Forget Grass Bar was cold and deep, with a little shrewdness and profiteering of a businessman. He never easily showed his inner feelings, and usually did not show his emotions. However, Chen Jinhao, who was standing on the stage today, a middle-aged man who had reached the age of 40, was passionate and hot-blooded. He roared at the top of his lungs with the accompaniment of the bionics. His face was flushed, the blue veins on his neck and forehead bulged, and his eyes were full of blood, as if they were burning flames, containing endless power. In terms of singing skills alone, Chen Jinhao was not very good, and even at the climax of the song, his voice was a little broken, but the emotion he put into singing moved everyone present. Everyone applauded or roared with him, and the huge sound wave seemed to be able to overturn the roof. Lu Chen, who was among them, could not help but feel his blood boil. He raised his arms, clenched his fists, and roared at the top of his lungs. Tomorrow I will be reborn, and once again face a regretless youth. Please never forget my real name. At the end of the song, the audience was boiling. Thank you. After singing, Tomorrow Reborn, Chen Jinhao seemed to have exhausted all his strength. He was sweating, and asked with a smile, "Is everyone happy? Do you like it? Is it strong enough?" "Happy. I like it. It's strong enough." His friends responded loudly. This kind of Chen Jinhao was not something many people had seen before, and it was very refreshing. The person who invited Chen Jinhao to sing on stage shouted, "Brother Kenho, take it easy. Remember that you still have to consummate your marriage tomorrow. If you don't have any strength, then sister-in-law will scold us to death." Everyone laughed heartily, and the air was filled with particles of joy. "I'll remember you." Chen Jinhao fiercely glared at the culprit, and handed the microphone to Qin Hanyang. "Great Qin, it's up to you." The bachelor party held in Forget Worries Bar did not lack singers. Just the bands alone, there were as many as 4 or 5, not to mention the veterans in Ho-Hai. Tonight was a special day, and many people were willing to make less money to come and support. Qin Hanyang did not say anything and led the brothers of the Bionics to sing, In the Spring. If Lu Chen had become a legend in the circle of Ho-Hai, then, In the Spring, by the Bionics was simply a fairy tale, admired and worshipped by countless bar singers. This song has been popular on major music websites for a long time, and so far it still occupies a place on the original music chart, not to mention that it once dominated the chart for many weeks and became a phenomenal classic. Although it was not pure rock, In the Spring awakened people's memory of the once glorious national rock. The Bionics had become the hottest new wave in the pop music world, and it was said that the invitations to perform were all arranged until next year. Now Forget Grass Bar, in the place where the Bionics once rose and struggled, hearing this original, In the Spring, many people felt a sense of honor. Moreover, the original creator of In the Spring was also there. Everyone did not forget Lu Chen. When the Bionics finished singing, In the Spring, someone immediately shouted his name. It was a regular customer of Forget Grass Bar. If you really count it, Lu Chen did not leave Forget Grass Bar for a long time. But for those regular customers, Lu Chen had been gone for a long time. They missed this tall and handsome young man, missed him sitting on the stage, holding a guitar and singing, You Who Sat Next to Me. That kind of feeling could not be experienced through the screen. Everyone knew that Lu Chen's footsteps would not stop at Forget Worries Bar. They were very happy that Lu Chen could move to a bigger and more brilliant stage, and they also wished Lu Chen's future and prospects. At the same time, they still hoped to hear Lu Chen's live performance again. Today was the best opportunity. Qin Hanyang said to the microphone, "Then, let's invite the young boss of Forget Grass Bar to sing a new song for us. How about it? A new song that we have never heard before." "Okay." Everyone applauded and enthusiastically responded to Qin Hanyang. For other singers, such a request might be suspected of deliberately making things difficult for them. But Lu Chen, his amazing talent in composition was regarded as an incredible miracle in the circle. In just a few months, Lu Chen had written more than 20 original songs. Although some writers who were in the prime of their creative period could also come up with so many works in such a short period of time, no one could be like Lu Chen, whose first song was a masterpiece or even a classic. What made people most speechless was that he had a wild imagination in composition. His style covered folk songs, light rock songs, love songs and even theme songs. His musical ideas seemed endless. In the circle, Lu Chen even had the nickname Melody Nouveau Riche. Therefore, the request that was difficult for others was obviously legitimate, reasonable and necessary for Lu Chen. The new song must be an original new work. Lu Chen. Lu Chen. Lu Chen. No one knew who started it, but everyone shouted Lu Chen's name neatly and loudly. It was obviously Qin Jianhao's bachelor party, but it seemed to have become Lu Chen's home court. But Qin Jianhao did not care. Instead, he shouted with everyone, pushing the atmosphere of the scene to the climax. Chapter 189. There was once a star who said in a TV interview that his path to stardom was bumpy. He had experienced countless difficulties and twists and turns. He stumbled his way to where he was now and wanted to give up several times and live an ordinary life. But when he stood on the stage and heard thousands of people shouting his name, all the bitterness and pain disappeared. He felt that all his efforts had been rewarded and he persisted in his original intention. At this moment, Lu Chen understood this senior very well. Although there weren't many guests in the Forget Worries bar at this moment, only 100 or 200, they weren't ordinary people. There were people in the same industry, singers from Hohai, and bar owners. When everyone was shouting his name and looking forward to him singing on the stage, it was a really good feeling. As if you were the master of the whole world. It was hard to refuse such hospitality. Lu Chen walked onto the stage and stood under the bright spotlight. The bar quickly calmed down. Lu Chen smiled a little embarrassedly. He said to the microphone, "Today is an important day for Brother Kenho to say goodbye to being single, so I'll give you a song as a gift." The applause that had just subsided sounded again. Everyone's eyes were focused on Lu Chen. Some were expectant, some were curious, and some were excited. Lu Chen borrowed a guitar from Qin Hanyang. He smiled and said, "Everyone here is a friend, so the name of this song is, Friend." The next moment, Lu Chen gently plucked the strings and played the prelude. His eyes looked forward, and his dark eyes flashed. Then, a slightly low singing voice drifted into everyone's ears. "All these years, I've been alone, the wind has passed, the rain has passed, there have been tears, there have been mistakes, what do you still remember to hold on to? Only after true love will you understand, there will be loneliness, there will be looking back, there will be dreams, there will be you, in my heart. Friends walk together for a lifetime, those days will never happen again, a word for a lifetime of love, a glass of wine, friends are never lonely, you will understand when I call you friend, there are still wounds and pain, there is still me." At some point, perhaps after Lu Chen played the first note, the originally noisy, lively, and joyful Forget Grass bar became very quiet. Behind the bar counter, the bartender, David, put down the shaker he had been shaking for a long time. In the crowd, the Snow Bunny girls stopped wandering around. On the upper floor of the bar, several specially invited VIPs poked their heads out of the railing to listen more clearly. More people crowded around the stage. They stared at Lu Chen and listened to the song with serious and thoughtful expressions. He was also slightly touched. Friend, what a precious word it is. The lyrics of this song were very simple, and the melody was not complicated. Lu Chen's playing and singing did not contain any elements of dazzling skills. Just like that, he played and sang, as if narrating a story of vicissitudes. It shook the hearts of everyone present, especially the musicians. Many of them lived a constantly moving life. Because of the special nature of their work, they often constantly rushed back and forth between different places. Sometimes they often did not even have time to unpack their luggage before they had to report to the next stop, living a wandering life. On the road of music, every time they set out, they never knew what the result would be. Between the collision and the search, they could only rely on themselves and their friends. They had no way to rely on a sense of stability that could last forever, and the only feeling that could give them peace of mind, apart from family and relatives, was only friends. It was not easy to drift in Beijing, and friends were rare. A sentence, a lifetime of love, a cup of wine. These 4 short sentences expressed the preciousness of friendship in the vagabond life. It was rare for them to have a drink together tonight, and tomorrow they would go their separate ways. Although it was only a sentence, it represented the vow of a lifetime. But how many such friends could there be in a lifetime? Friends were a kind of meeting. In the boundless world of mortals, in the vast sea of people, friends could meet each other, come together, get to know each other, understand each other, and get close to each other. It was really fate. In the journey of life where people come and go, meet and separate, in their different life trajectories, in the sea of hearts with different experiences, it could be said to be a kind of luck to be able to meet each other, reunite, and meet each other. Fate did not always come, and should be extremely cherished. Just like in Lu Chen's song. Friends are never lonely, you will understand when I call you friend, there is still pain, there is still me. Friends walk together for a lifetime, those days will never happen again, a word for a lifetime of love, a glass of wine. Chen Jinhao stood in the crowd, his eyes a little sour. Men did not easily shed tears, but only when they were sad. He was not sad. Because tomorrow was his wedding day. After going through ups and downs, he suddenly found that there had always been a person who was really worth cherishing silently waiting by his side, and he did not miss it. It was just that the memories of the past were evoked by Lu Chen's song. Chen Jinhao thought of those friends who had accompanied him all the way. Some of them lost their direction and lost contact on the journey, some gradually drifted away, and some even turned against each other. But there were also a few friends who persisted and became real close friends. The so-called close friends were not people who saw each other every day and drank together every day, but even if they hadn't seen each other for several years or even called each other, once they knew that the other party needed help, even if they were thousands of miles away, they would come over and do their best. How lucky he was to have several such friends. Recalling the past, Chen Jinhao was stunned. Until the applause around him woke him up. On the stage, Lu Chen returned the guitar to Qin Hanyang, and he leaned over to the Snow Rabbit girl and asked for a glass of beer. Straightening up again, Lu Chen raised his glass high and said, "This glass, we toast friends." To friends. Everyone raised their glasses in unison and responded to his call. Lu Chen raised his head and drank the glass of wine. He was a little drunk. But tonight's bachelor party was just the beginning, and there were more programs to come. Perhaps they were moved by Lu Chen's song, or they just wanted to get to know him. When Lu Chen got off the stage, guests came over one after another to toast him. Lu Chen drank one glass after another, and in the end, he didn't even know how much he had drunk. He even felt very strange. When did his alcohol tolerance become so good? He didn't get drunk even after drinking so much. Unfortunately, this was just an illusion. At the end of drinking, Lu Chen's consciousness was blurred. In a hazy state, he was helped to the backstage lounge. Lying in bed, drunk, countless memories emerged in Lu Chen's mind. All of them were memories from his dream world. Su Bo, Mo Ran, Fang Mingyi, life after life flashed past his eyes. It was so illusory, yet so real. Vaguely, he seemed to hear someone singing softly beside his ear. This time, shake and shake, this time, turn and turn. This time, shake and shake, this time, turn and turn, de Chen, de Chen. Lu Chen was woken up by someone shaking him hard. It made him dizzy. Trying to open his eyes, Lu Chen saw a familiar face, Peter Pan. He was still in a daze. "Brother Fei, why are you here?" Li Feiyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "De Chen, today is Boss Chen's wedding day, and you are the best man." Lu Chen suddenly woke up and instinctively turned over and sat up. Oh no! Today was October 1st, National Day, and also the wedding day of Chen Jianhao and Zhang Nana. Lu Chen was assigned the task of best man, to pick up the bride. He drank too much at the bachelor party last night and completely forgot about it. Li Feiyu quickly said, "It's not too late now, the motorcade is waiting by the road outside. You go wash up first, I will drive later." Lu Chen finally let out a long sigh of relief and quickly ran to prepare. There was a bathroom in the small suite backstage of Forget Grass Bar. Lu Chen simply took a shower to wash away the smell of alcohol and completely sober himself up. Li Feiyu brought his dress, and after taking a shower, he went out. He followed the motorcade directly to the hotel. Zhang Nana was not a native of Jing City, and she used to live in a rented house, so she rented a room in the hotel as her maiden home. Her parents rushed over from their hometown. Interestingly, when they arrived at the hotel to pick up the bride, Lu Chen found that Su Qingmei was among the bridesmaids. Director of Light Rain Media, Su Qingmei, Miss Su really seized the opportunity to torment the best men. Passing 3 tests, giving red packets, guessing riddles, fortunately, the bride, Sister Na, was very reasonable. She raised it high and put it down gently, so that Lu Chen and others did not disappoint. The official wedding ceremony was held at the famous 5-star Regent Hotel in Jing City. For the first time in his life, Chen Jianhao did not mistreat the bride who had been in love with him for many years. The whole wedding was very grand, and as many as 400 to 500 guests were invited. The bridesmaids received red packets until their hands were tired. Many friends from both inside and outside the circle came. The scene of the ceremony was very touching, and Sister Na even cried. It wasn't easy for the two to be together. Chen Jianhao originally didn't have any plans to get married, and Sister Na wasn't his ideal partner, but the latter's true feelings moved him, and in the end, they achieved this beautiful fate. It was also a good story in the circle. Although Sister Na's appearance was very ordinary, she has now become a well-known and powerful female singer through her cooperation with the Bionics. In terms of identity alone, it was enough to match Chen Jianhao. After attending Chen Jianhao and Zhang Nana's wedding, Lu Chen could not have a long National Day holiday. The next day, he took Li Feiyu to Jinling to shoot his first personal commercial. Note, friend, lyrics, Lu Siming/composer, Lu Jihong. Chapter 190. Jiangnan Beautiful Land, Jinling Emperor State. Jinling is the capital of Jiangsu Province, located in the eastern part of China, downstream of the Yangtze River, near the river and offshore, with a population of over 10 million. This city has a history of more than 6,000 years of civilization, nearly 2,600 years of city building and nearly 500 years of capital building. It is one of the 4 ancient capitals of China, known as Ancient Capital of 6 Dynasties, and Capital of 10 Dynasties. It is also an important birthplace of Chinese civilization. In history, it has blessed China several times. It has long been the political, economic and cultural center of southern China, with a deep cultural heritage and rich historical relics. Taking the G107 high-speed train from Beijing, Lu Chen and Li Feiyu arrived at this ancient and very modern city in only 3 hours. It was the first time for Lu Chen to come to Jinling to shoot his first commercial. Half a month ago, Silver Horse Advertising Company in Beijing and Lu Chen Studio reached a cooperation agreement, inviting Lu Chen to be the brand spokesperson of Senki Sportswear. The contract period is 1 year and the contract amount is 1 million yuan. Both sides are very satisfied with this contract. The endorsement fee originally proposed by Silver Horse Advertising Company was 800,000 yuan, but after Lu Shi's struggle, the contract amount was finally increased by 200,000 yuan. The contract mainly includes promotional posters, commercials, and so on. Senki is a new clothing brand on the market, focusing on the sports consumption market of young people. The reason why this brand, which is in the ascendant period, chose Lu Chen was mainly because Lu Chen was young enough and had a very healthy image. Especially recently, under the hype of Beijing television, his performance of I Love You China was exposed in advance, and he gained a high reputation both inside and outside the circle, and finally prompted the two sides to sign a contract successfully. For his first endorsement advertisement, Lu Chen also attached great importance to it. He rushed to Jinling just after National Day. The reason why this Senki commercial was shot in Jinling instead of Beijing was that Senki was a local brand in Jinling. Some of the posters that Lu Chen needed to shoot would be shot at the headquarters of Senki. Secondly, Jinling Film City was one of the top 3 film cities in the country. It was large in scale and had advanced facilities. It had Xiangjiang Road, Minghua Street, Ming and Qin Palace, along the river during the Qingming Festival, Buddhist Temple and Taoist Temple, and many other large-scale real-life buildings. In addition, Jinling had many historical sites, countless gardens, and a modern metropolis cluster. Therefore, many film companies and TV series production units in Beijing used Jinling as a fixed shooting base. Every year, countless celebrities entered and left Jinling. Moreover, there are many local film and television companies in Jinling. Silver Horse Advertising Company in Beijing has a branch in Jinling. It is very convenient to shoot commercials and can save a lot of costs. For example, the Senki commercial that Lu Chen is going to shoot involves urban scenes. If it is shot in the capital, the issue of approval alone can give people a headache. The capital is quite strict in this regard. In Jinling, this wasn't a problem at all. Not to mention the film studio city, even if they wanted to shoot in the city, the government had a green channel to encourage and support the film industry. Therefore, if everything went well, Lu Chen would be able to finish shooting the advertisement and posters in a day or two. He could easily earn 1 million. When the high-speed train arrived at the station, Lu Chen and Li Feiyu got off the train. At the exit gate, the sharp-eyed Li Feiyu was the first to find a young man holding a reception card. The 2 big words, Lu Chen, were very conspicuous. Before leaving for Jinling, Lu Chen's studio had negotiated with Silver Horse Advertising Company. When Lu Chen arrived here, the other party's branch would arrange for accompanying personnel and accommodation. This young man in a blue t-shirt was undoubtedly the person sent by Silver Horse Advertising Company to greet him. Lu Chen passed the ticket gate and walked directly to the other party. He smiled and said, "Hello, I'm Lu Chen." The other party was stunned at first, but then he came to his senses. He hurriedly put down the sign and shook hands with Lu Chen. "Hello, Mr. Lu Chen, hello." This time, Lu Chen was wearing a pair of sunglasses, so Chui didn't immediately recognize him. Although there was no large amount of hype and publicity, Lu Chen was now a little famous. He was often recognized by fans when he went out and walked on the road. Wearing sunglasses was just to avoid a lot of unnecessary trouble. Lu Chen smiled and said, "Sorry to keep you waiting. Let's go." Probably because he didn't expect Lu Chen to be so polite, Chui was so excited that his face turned red. He was a little incoherent. "No, not long. The car arranged by the company is outside. I'm Lu Zhe from Silver Horse. Call me Xiao Lu." Lu Chen nodded and introduced Li Feiyu to him. "This is Li Feiyu, Li Gu, my assistant." Hello. Lu Zhe should be a newcomer who had just come out of society. He didn't have much work experience and wasn't good at interpersonal communication. In other words, Silver Horse Advertising Company sent him to greet and accompany Lu Chen, which was somewhat suspected of negligence. However, Lu Chen didn't care, or to be more precise, he didn't have the airs of a star. He wouldn't do such a thing as acting like a big shot. The car that picked up Lu Chen was just an ordinary Buick business car. The driver was a silent middle-aged man. After everyone got on the car, he drove all the way to a hotel near Jinling Film and Television City in Jiangning District. In terms of hotel accommodation, Silver Horse Advertising Company followed the provisions of the contract and arranged a 5-star hotel. Now was the National Day Golden Holiday. Even if it was booked in advance, it would be difficult to find a room around the Film and Television City, as a tourist hotspot in Jinling. Being able to arrange for Lu Chen to stay in a nearby 5-star hotel undoubtedly showed the power of Silver Horse. The only problem was that the room booked was an ordinary standard room, not a business suite. When stars go out to work, they usually discuss the treatment conditions with the reception party in advance, such as means of transportation, hotel standards, etc. The more famous the artist, the more detailed the requirements. There were often star artists who lost their temper and even went on strike because the reception standards of their partners did not meet their own requirements. As a result, they were published in the entertainment gossip news. Many artists regarded face as more important than life. Even if their status was not high enough, they would find ways to improve the treatment. Lu Zhe felt very sorry for this. Mr. Lu Chen, the hotel room is too tight now. As early as 2 months ago, the business suites of the 5-star hotels here have been booked. If you think it's not appropriate, then, it doesn't matter. Lu Chen smiled faintly and interrupted his explanation. The standard room is very good, thank you. Lu Zhe couldn't help but breathe a big sigh of relief. It's my duty, my duty. What he was most afraid of was that Lu Chen would lose his temper. At that time, in order to appease the latter's anger, the company would definitely put the blame on him and let him take the blame. A few days ago, Lu Zhe received an artist who also came to shoot a promotional video. Because the car that picked him up was a Buick business car instead of a Mercedes-Benz, he actually turned hostile on the spot and wanted to leave, which made him anxious. Although the company urgently transferred a Mercedes-Benz over later, Lu Zhe was criticized internally on the grounds of inconsiderate reception. He had to come to work as usual during the National Day holiday to atone for his mistakes. At that time, Lu Zhe was so wrong that he really wanted to quit. But good jobs were too hard to find now. The treatment of Silver Horse was first class in the industry, so he could only endure it. Fortunately, this time, LVZ did not run into an unreasonable person. Originally, the company arranged for a Mercedes-Benz business car to pick up Lu Chen, but because another star temporarily changed the itinerary, the Mercedes-Benz was called over, and he could only continue to use a Buick. On the way here just now, Lu Zhe's heart was anxious and fearful. Lu Chen's tolerance and understanding really moved him. The assistant of Silver Horse Company asked politely, "Mr. Lu Chen, if you are not tired, I will accompany you to the Confucius Temple to taste the local specialties, and then play by the Qinhuai River. What do you think?" Lu Chen nodded and said, "A guest should follow the host's wishes. You can arrange it." He had known about the Qinhuai River for a long time. Since he was here, he naturally wanted to enjoy the legendary Qinhuai River. After settling down, Lu Chen and Lu Zhe followed Lu Zhe to the Confucius Temple. After a sumptuous dinner in the century-old Savants building, the three of them went for a night tour of the Qinhuai River. During this period of time, Lu Chen had been working hard for his career. Today, he had a rare opportunity to relax. Therefore, he temporarily put his work and responsibilities aside. The scenery of the Qinhuai River was the most prosperous and lively in the area around the Confucius Temple. The street was bustling with people. There were restaurants and tea houses on both sides of the river. There were countless shops selling handicrafts and traditional snacks. The shop signs were flashing with neon lights, which set off the scenery on the river. Wui Lane, Zhuke Bridge, Wangxiatang Qianyan, the former relics had already become such a bustling tourist place. Countless tourists were walking through the streets and alleys of the Confucius Temple, or taking a cruise ship on the water. On the riverside where the willows drooped, many old people sat around a table, drinking tea and playing chess, enjoying themselves. At night in the Qinhuai River, the moon was warm and the stars were bright. The sound of oars on the river was bursting with lights. From time to time, the beautiful sound of flute with silk strings came from the richly ornamented cruise ship, making people feel as if they had traveled through ancient time and space. Lu Qin strolled between the corridors on the riverbank, smelling the fragrance of the vines and flowers wrapped around the wooden frame and listening to the gurgling sound of the Qinhuai River. He couldn't help but feel relaxed and happy. Looking from the railing on the Wendy Bridge, he saw big and small light boats shuttling back and forth. The pedestrians on the boats held cameras and mobile phones to take pictures everywhere, flashing frequently. Some people pointed the camera at Lu Qin standing on the bridge, laughing and recording his image. This scene reminded Lu Qin of a famous poet's poem, "You stand on the bridge to enjoy the scenery, and the people who enjoy the scenery look at you from upstairs. The bright moon decorates your window, and you decorate other people's dreams." Although he didn't drink to his heart's content, he felt drunk. Chapter 191. Leisure was leisure, and work was work. Lu Qin clearly distinguished the two. No matter how beautiful the scenery of Jinling was, and how moving the wind and moon of the Qinhuai River was, it couldn't make him forget to go home and neglect his work. On the second day in Jinling, Lu Qin got up early. Li Feiyu was still sleeping soundly. He quietly left the hotel and ran outside to exercise. After returning, Lu Qin woke up Li Feiyu, and the two went to the hotel restaurant for breakfast. After breakfast, Lu Zhe came just in time. Today was the day of shooting the commercial. According to the arrangement of Silver Horse, if the shooting could be completed smoothly in the morning, then he would go to Senki's headquarters in the afternoon to take promotional poster photos, and then he would be able to return to Beijing in the evening. Of course, this was the ideal situation. The shooting work of film and television has never been simple. Even the simplest commercial, it is difficult to guarantee that there will be any accidents and twists and turns, such as the wrong costumes and props, the poor state of the actors, etc., which will affect the shooting process. Under the leadership of Lu Zhe, Lu Qin first met with the shooting team of Silver Horse Advertising. Although it was only shooting a commercial, there were many members of the shooting team. The director, photographer, photography assistant, field clerk, art, lighting engineer, lighting assistant, prop master, makeup artist. Plus the field workers who were responsible for odd jobs, pushing the track, and transporting, there were more than a dozen of them. This also showed the strength of Silver Horse Advertising. If it was the kind of amateur team, maybe the director and a few photographers could handle it, and they wouldn't be able to arrange such a big lineup. In addition, it could also be seen that Senki attached great importance and investment to this commercial. The shooting location was Xiangjiang Road in Jinling Film and Television City. Jinling Film and Television City was built in cooperation between the government and enterprises. It has invested tens of billions of yuan, and has long become one of the famous tourist attractions in Jinling City. This Xiangjiang Road, which was built in imitation of Jiulong Commercial Street in Xiangjiang, was surrounded by high-rise shops, commuter trams and real subway stations. It was not much different from the real scene. Many domestic movies and TV shows were shot here. Interestingly, it was said that even Xiangjiang's film and television companies had shot films full of Hong Kong flavor on Xiangjiang Road. When Lu Qin arrived, the shooting team had just been in place. According to the plan, the outdoor part of the commercial would be shot first, and then the indoor part would be shot after that. The plot was not complicated. The plot of the commercial was about the male lead, played by Lu Qin, and the female lead, who overslept with him. The latter was in a hurry to attend an important meeting at the company and accidentally left a document at home. After the male protagonist found out, he immediately put on Senki sportswear and Senki sneakers and ran out to chase after her, only to find that the female protagonist had already left in a taxi. Therefore, the male protagonist ran all the way down the street, crossing many obstacles in the process. When the female protagonist arrived at the conference room and realized that she didn't bring any documents with her, the male protagonist, who was sweating profusely, descended from the heavens. The female lead was so touched that she gave him a kiss on the spot, causing everyone in the company to applaud. Finally, the camera focused on Senki's logo. Lu Chen had already read the script for the advertisement, so he had already memorized a few lines. The role he was playing didn't require a lot of acting skills. The only difficulty was that during the running process, in order to show the brand's sports characteristics, there were a few scenes that involved parkour. Silver Horse Advertising was going to use a stunt double, that is, a professional parkour enthusiast. Lu Chen came a little early. Under the introduction of Lu Zhe, he chatted with the director of the shooting team and listened to the latter explain the key points of the shooting. After all, the main shots of this commercial were all on Lu Chen. The director also introduced Lu Chen's stunt double. The stunt double was a professional fitness coach, surnamed Wang, who was nearly 30 years old. He was slightly shorter than Lu Chen, but the muscles all over his body were very strong. He was a little shy when he spoke. Obviously, he was the type with a straightforward personality. The director told Lu Chen that the fitness coach was a soldier and usually liked parkour. He once won the 5th place in the national parkour competition. After understanding the director's intentions, Lu Chen thought for a moment and asked, "Director, can you not use a stunt double? Let Coach Wang demonstrate those parkour moves to me first, and then I'll do it myself." "You don't need a stunt double?" The director was shocked and looked at Lu Chen with incredible eyes. "Are you going to do it yourself?" The cameraman, lighting technician, makeup artist next to him, including Coach Wang, their expressions were a little strange. Professional things, of course, needed professional personnel to do it. Although it was more troublesome to use a stunt double, it required post-editing and modification to avoid being exposed, and big increased the difficulty of shooting. But it was better than Lu Chen taking risks. One of the scenes in the commercial required the male lead to flexibly climb over the railing and then jump over a 3-meter-wide flower bed. It was impossible to complete it without enough jumping ability. If he didn't know the skills, he might even get injured. The director felt that Lu Chen didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Of course, he concealed his disdain very well. The director of a commercial was not a film and TV director. The difference in status was too big, and star artists couldn't afford to offend him. So he could only explain in kind words, "That's too dangerous. We can't take such risks. Please understand." Lu Chen smiled and did not insist on his own idea. He chose to respect the director's arrangement. Well then, the director secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He had shot a lot of commercials and knew how difficult it was to deal with some star artists. Lu Chen was obviously not that kind of person, and he was very easy to talk to. After appeasing Lu Chen, the director raised his wrist and looked at his watch, frowning. He turned around, pointed to his watch and asked his assistant, "Look at what time it is now. Why hasn't Miss Sun Shan come yet? Call and urge her again." "What are you doing here?" The assistant shrank his head after being scolded and quickly took out his mobile phone to contact. The director said to Lu Chen again, "Mr. Lu Chen, I'm really sorry. Please wait a little longer. Miss Sun Shan may have encountered something. Would you like to sit here first?" Lu Chen smiled and said, "It doesn't matter. I'll wait a little longer." Sun Shan was the female protagonist of Lu Chen's commercial, a 3rd or 4th tier film and television star. Lu Chen searched the other party's information on the internet and knew that the other party had appeared in several films and TV series. Although they were all supporting roles, she was quite popular on the internet. It was said that she was very good at hype and had won 1 or 2 unknown awards. Sun Shan was very beautiful, but her reputation was not very good. Of course, Lu Chen didn't care about the other party's character. Anyway, it was just cooperation in an advertisement. But he soon knew that he thought too simple. After the phone call, the assistant came over and said, "Director, Miss Sun Shan is still in the hotel. She said that she will arrive in about an hour." What do you think? Another hour? The director was so angry that his eyes widened. So many people are waiting for her. He suppressed his temper and waved his hand hard and said, "Forget it, then don't wait. Let's shoot the male lead part first. Everyone, hurry up and get ready." As soon as the director gave the order, the shooting team immediately got busy. The cameraman set up the camera, the makeup artist rushed over to put on makeup for Lu Chen, and the lighting assistant ran around with the reflector in his arms. The field clerk led the field workers to isolate the curious tourists who gathered around to watch the fun, so as not to interfere with the shooting work. The first to start shooting was not Lu Chen, but his double. Coach Wang changed into a full set of sportswear and sneakers. After warming up, he began the first round of shooting, which was mainly an action of climbing over obstacles. This professional coach was very strong. He ran for a dozen steps and suddenly jumped up. He easily jumped over several boxes stacked on the side of the road. His movements were very vigorous and smooth. The camera installed on the guide track followed his footsteps and filmed the whole process completely. The first take went very smoothly. The director was very satisfied. After watching the replay, he passed it directly. The next second parkour scene was a lot more difficult. It required the double to climb over the railing and then jump over the flower bed and land on the grass. Because the distance of the jump was relatively long, there was a certain degree of danger. While the double was trying, Lu Chen received a phone call. A phone call that he didn't expect. Sister Fei? The person who called him was actually Chen Fei. Lu Chen, where are you? Lu Chen wondered, I'm shooting a commercial in Jinling now. Sister Fei, what can I do for you? Chen Fei chuckled and said, can't I call you if I have nothing to do? Lu Chen, Chen Fei, said with a smile, I'm not joking with you. Are you shooting in Jinling Film and Television City? Lu Chen said, yes, I'm on Hong Kong Road now. Chen Fei said, I've shot there before. I'm more familiar with the place than you. I'll hang up first. Lu Chen was stunned. Oh, goodbye, Sister Fei. After ending the call with Chen Fei, Lu Chen felt a little inexplicable. Ah! As he was thinking, suddenly there was a scream of pain in front of him. Lu Chen was taken aback and rushed over with several staff on the scene. Then he found out that his double, that is, Coach Wang, had an accident. It turned out that when shooting the scene of jumping over the flower bed, Coach Wang did not handle it well when he landed. As a result, he twisted his foot and couldn't stand up in pain. Everyone helped him up and moved a stool to sit down. When he took off his sneakers, Coach Wang's ankle had begun to swell. Although it was not known whether Bonehead was okay or not, it was definitely impossible to continue shooting with him like this. And the previous scenes were equivalent to shooting in vain. Because it was necessary to replace him. The problem was where to find a replacement now. It should be known that these movements were a bit difficult, and not just anyone could do it. The director's sadness was almost like a river. You're tuning into the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.